affects a Black Sea ceasefire on ships between both countries.
They had agreed to a limited ceasefire last week after President Trump talked to the leaders of both countries, but both sides dispute the terms, and a Russian drone attack killed 7 Ukrainians over the weekend. Israel keeps going on the attack in Gaza, where Palestinian officials now say more than 50,000 people have been killed during the war.
Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says 2 people died in an airstrike on the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis. We're told the dead included a 16-year-old boy who had surgery 2 days ago. A member of Hamas's political bureau was also declared dead. Israel's military confirmed targeting a Hamas operative at the hospital. It blames civilian deaths on Hamas because it operates in densely populated areas and systematically embeds in hospitals, schools and shelters, although Hamas denies it.
Fox's Jonathan Savage, a progressive senator, is trying to rally Democrats against President Trump and Republicans. Bernie Sanders tells ABC's This Week.
I'm trying to make it clear to the people throughout the world and throughout our own country that the American people are not going to sit idly by and allow Trump establish an oligarchic form of government.
As Democrats keep challenging billionaire Elon Musk and Doge in court for their federal cutbacks, some are also calling on Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to step down from that role for voting with Republicans on their spending bill to keep funding the government. But Schumer tells NBC's Meet the Press.
The CR was certainly bad, the continuing resolution, but a shutdown would be 15 or 20 times worse.
A former congresswoman has died. Mia Love, who was the first black Republican woman to serve in Congress after being elected in Utah in 2014. She served 2 terms. She was 49 years old and had been battling brain cancer. America's listening to Fox News.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Good Monday morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Got Jure along with us, too. It's a bit drizzly, rainy, but I think that's supposed to clear off sometime this afternoon. You can probably check your app on your phone. It's probably right there for you. Los, what's up, man?
I checked into it. It'll burn off. It'll be fine.
Let's go. See?
It'll be totally fine.
Just fine. And that's what we're looking for.
As I wink at you, I don't know.
He's not checked his app. You know what? I'm going to do it right now.
I'm just guessing. As I'm driving into town, I realize when it's a nasty day and when it's just all right, it's showing off a little bit.
Yeah, it's supposed to clear out by the afternoon. Be a little cloudy.
That's what I thought.
But
meteorologist
Oracle of Atlanta says
that's what he's got.
It'll all burn off.
Meteorologist Dre. Look, I mean, I think most meteorologists probably look at the weather app. That's my guess. I could be wrong about that. The only person I can guarantee you don't is David Chanley because he's a chief meteorologist. That's a different level. It's a different pay grade there. He comes on the show with us once in a while, especially back when it was snowy. But anyway, 7 teams from the SEC headed to the Sweet 16. I know there, it's that, well, the SEC's overrated. They get too many teams in this tournament and don't need all this. And then you look back and you're like, well, they seem to perform pretty well. They've made it that far. I guess they're okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of fascinating as we now get into the South Region Final. That's what Atlanta's gonna be hosting this week, and you'll have Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah,
and then you have top seed overall in the tournament Auburn. So it's going to be a fun time for those of you that do enjoy your SEC basketball. Just know that the Big Ten is showing out, and you're gonna have to deal more than likely with obviously when it comes to Auburn, you're gonna have to deal with Michigan. And the way Michigan State is playing right now, you probably got to go through them as well.
Yeah, there you go, man. So, Auburn, you better be ready.
But Ole Miss is here, too. So
Yeah, Ole Miss, yeah, how
I don't
about
want to
them?
forget about the Rebels. The Rebels are around.
Yeah, that old land shark defense. Do they do land shark defense in basketball, too?
I don't think they do that in basketball.
They need to. Bring that back. You know? Well, I don't know if they actually had it. So,
But that'll be a big
introduce it.
Friday and then Sunday over at State Farm Arena. And trust me, for those of us who are staying in downtown Atlanta this
Oh,
weekend,
my gosh.
some of the hotel costs are insane.
Well, but you're going to be down there for a completely different
I'll be down
reason.
there for girls volleyball with both of my daughters playing at Big South, which started this past weekend. But yeah, it's going to be nuts.
But that's the entirety of the Georgia World Conference Center, Congress Center, if I can speak.
A, B, and C.
Dude, that's unbelievable. Do you know how many teams that is total?
Okay, I tell you what, give me about 45 seconds, and I can just tell you what's in our division.
I'll let you look that up, and then I will say that something good has happened to the Atlanta Braves. And now if you're an Ian Anderson fan, and tough day yesterday, for losing him. He was traded to the Angels for Suarez, I believe.
Yeah, Jose Suarez.
Yeah, and then, but that's not even it. The Texas Rangers released Jesse Chavez.
Don't act like this is a bad deal for the Rangers. It's a great deal for Atlanta.
Yeah. It's a wonderful deal for Atlanta because welcome home, Jesse. It won't be long. Rubber Band Man will be right back up at the big league club where he belongs with his cool hats. Like I think it was, Grant McCauley. I saw him. He posted on Instagram or Twitter, one of the two, and it was Jesse with his cool hat, and he was like, I think he'll go into the Hall of Fame with that hat, because it was Greg Maddux that he went in with a blank hat because he loved the Braves, but he loved the Cubs because we drafted him and all that. And that would be awesome. Jesse Chavez in his cool hat on his monument picture.
That dude is going
great.
Now,
I love him.
I don't know when it's going to go, but I do know that whenever he throws for the Braves, he suddenly, in a short time, he ends up turning into one of the most elite relief pitchers in the game. But as soon as we get into the dog days, August, September, that's when you kind of shelve it. But if you can get another 3 months out of that dude,
yes, that's right.
Means.
Yes, that's right. I love his story. I like him because he's cool. There's a lot to love about Jesse Chavez, and welcome back to Atlanta, sir. It's a minor league deal, but it won't be long until he's back up. Did you figure out how many teams down there?
I'm still looking.
Still okay.
It's
a
going
whole
to
bunch.
be thousands.
I mean, thousands.
I feel
and
like
thousands.
it's going to be a crazy amount.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Like I think our division this weekend, and this is just in this case, this is 14 USA, so it's a second division. I think we have on our own like 60 teams.
And you're one club.
With our own one division within our club. And that's not counting
60.
15s or 14s or 13s or 12s. And keep in mind, every single age group has a multitude of divisions.
Yeah.
There's Open, there's USA, there's no Liberty this time, there's American. But still, there's 3 to 4 divisions per age group. And then there's teams filling in. So it's going to be nuts. So
I love that
We're
stuff.
going to check in. In fact, I won't be here on Friday. I had to look at the whole schedule.
Okay.
I'll have to put that in with management.
Yeah.
But I check into the hotel Thursday evening, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be living in downtown Atlanta.
Dude, I'm telling you, and streaming things left and right. This guy turns into ESPN. The Sports Center for his team and his program and the girls.
It is a little bit silly the fact that I have YouTube channels that are all dedicated to kids volleyball.
It's so great. No, I think it's fantastic. Because I've been there, man. I've lived it. And there's so many people listening right now that are like, yeah, we did that too. But we didn't have the ability, 5-6 years ago to do what you're doing now. It was like you'd physically hold up Facebook Live,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, we're on a different level.
Yeah. That's totally different. than
Daddy's
what
not
now.
doing it where it looks crappy.
No,
looks good.
This has supers with scores and times.
In fact, I have one of the parents who contributed an iPad, and as he told me, can we do all the games in 4K?
Yeah, I want to.
No, it's a massive file, man.
Yeah,
but still, it's still high end.
No, I love it. I think it's awesome. It came back from South Carolina. It was a great trip. I was invited over to help with this radiothon that was raising money for this children's hospital. We raised $355,000. It was unbelievable. really great, nice folks. It was wonderful to help out. But I got to watch my son play baseball, too. And
he said he was balling.
He had a really good weekend.
That's awesome.
Yesterday went 3 for 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. I think his average is up to like 345, something like that. But he came so close twice to popping home runs on Saturday. I mean, literally one double that he hits, kind of the top of the wall, bounces off, and he rolls in for a stand-up double. And his next at bat, he smokes one, and kid's got his back, and he catches it on the wall with back against the wall. Like if the wind would have been that much more.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Yes.
Because we've already seen the quarterback at Vanderbilt, Pavia, who went and sued the NCAA for eligibility, and that worked out. How is that going to play out in baseball?
I don't know. I was asking Jacob about it too. He was like, I don't know, Dad, because they keep telling us different things. Sometimes they tell us that our NCAA eligibility is not affected by playing JUCO ball.
So let me point this out. So your son goes to College of Charleston.
Yep.
Gets hurt right before the season starts.
Had a great fall, got hurt, redshirted.
And takes the red shirt. Is basically told, all right, if you come back, and you're welcome to come back, the problem is it's going to be playing time because everybody else came back. So your son decided, all right, I'm going to transfer. I'm going to spend a year, and then I'll look at what my options are.
That's right.
But the NCAA ruling came down during this time period where if you choose to go play a season of JUCO, at least in college football, and at least in this one player's case, it doesn't count against them.
Right, and they have no idea how it's going to affect baseball. And the coaches don't know. The ADs don't know.
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's the wild, wild west. Nobody knows. If that were the case, him playing and getting valuable experience at the JUCO level wouldn't count against him. And he would still have 4 years of eligibility versus 3.
And by the way, to walk into a program at 2021, which significantly is more advantageous than going to get an 18-year-old who's doing the same thing.
That's exactly right. So I do feel really bad about what high school kids coming out of high school
it
right
makes
now.
It insane. The same way that the Super Sixes and the COVID year really kind of stifled the high school. Now what's going on within this NCAA ruling with JUCO?
Yeah, I don't know how it'll shake out. I expect that there will be another lawsuit filed at some point that will base everything off the precedent set with the Vanderbilt quarterback, and then it goes from there and becomes a little more clear as we move forward. But I expect that to happen sooner rather than later. That's just me guessing. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The coolest thing, we were at dinner after the game Saturday night. And a guy that I work out with is a former Penn State wrestler, national championship guy, Olympic guy, and he is involved with the Penn State program. He goes up there and he's sending me all these. He's blowing up my phone, and I'm at dinner. I don't want to be checking my phone, but I just can't help. I notice it's him, and I know where he is, and so I look down. Finally, I was like, "Pardon me, if you don't." A friend of mine is blowing up my phone. And he sends me this video, and it's like Donald Trump walking in to the NCAA wrestling tournament. And, man, the place blows up. Elon Musk is with him. Carolyn Levitt with him. That's the only 3 that I saw. I'm sure there was more. Those are the 3 that I saw in his videos anyway. But it was amazing, especially when the wrestler, and I have his name in our notes. Let me see if I can pull it up quick enough. He is from Oklahoma State. He beat the number 1 wrestler in the world, whatever, the Olympic champion.
Wyatt Hendrickson.
That guy. And he's also a member of the United States Air Force.
And by the way, was a wildly big underdog for this match. And in fact, Wyatt Henderson ends up bringing up throughout the course of the post game that he was reading about basically David versus Goliath. Mm-hmm. And that he was trying to get his mind right for the fact that I'm going to wrestle against somebody
who's an Olympic champion.
That I'm largely not in this person's class.
Yeah, I'm not even supposed to be able to compete. And he does the exact opposite and wins. Then
it was nuts.
It was crazy. And then, like I said, my buddy's sending me all these pictures and videos. And then we're at a sports bar eating dinner, and then bam, 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 it starts showing up on all the screens. They even break away from some of the college basketball coverage to show the video. But it even gets better. This wrestler, after he's done, he drapes the flag over his shoulder, walks over there, pops two in front of the commander-in-chief, gives President Trump the big hand salute, and then goes on to celebrate the victory later on over and shook hands. It was one of those cool, doesn't matter your politics, man. This dude is a member of the Air Force, just did something that he wasn't supposed to do. Very proud of himself, but has the wherewithal to realize that his commander-in-chief is standing right there.
So the championships are in Wisconsin, and I get that Donald Trump is a fan of combat sports. He is very lined up with the UFC, shows up to a multitude of their events. This one felt different because you picked out an NCAA championship that you decided, and granted, we've got the men's college basketball tournament going on, yet he picked out, we're going to the finals of wrestling, granted in a swing state, and so it actually works out well. But to then have what happened occur, and to see that young man get up, and after he's won the national championship, beating an Olympic champion, and snaps off a salute at the commander-in-chief.
So perfect. I mean, it's like, you couldn't have written that. That script,
crazy.
That script wasn't supposed to happen, and it did. It was fantastic.
And I know how much the left hates this sort of stuff, but I will just tell you, this is all preordained. It's all written. He's winning for a reason. He's dominating for a reason. In Trump's America, he keeps winning. We keep winning. People that are rooting for him keep winning. People that are serving in the military keep winning, and you keep losing almost every day.
and you're
how does that happen when a David versus Goliath, the dude, granted, the dude is wrestling for the NCAA championship.
So he's great.
And he's the one who's telling everybody, man, I don't know about this.
Yeah, seriously. No, I think it's so emblematic of what's happening in America that it's okay to love America again. It's okay to be proud of America again. In Trump's America, you can do those things.
And he said it, too, right after they got a mic in front of him as soon as he did the salute. You want to hear it?
Yeah, if you got it. Yeah, for sure.
Captain America.
Rob, I can't believe it.
My jaw's on the floor.
He did it.
Wow. What the president say to you?
He said he's very proud of me. It's like Commander-in-Chief. I'm very proud of that. He came here to support his troops. I put on a show for him. I won that national title.
Let's go. I put on a show, won him that national title. It's so good.
It was Trump, baby.
It was a cool moment.
It is so
good. It was really
good.
cool.
But that's where I want to be, man. That's the America I grew up with. That's the America that I long for. That's the America that I want my son and maybe grandchildren one day to inherit. I want your girls, Los, to inherit that America that loves our country, that is proud of our country, that wants to defend our country, and that realizes our country is the greatest on the face to ever exist. And on the face of the earth, the greatest country to ever exist. I can't find anybody right now. Well, if you're on the left, maybe, but that people want that too, and that's the reason they voted the way they did.
But it was an iconic moment.
Totally iconic.
And when you show up to an event, Donald Trump has shown up to events before, national championship games when it comes to football. He's gone to UFC fights.
That's great.
But to get an iconic moment in where a guy wins a national championship, and as a guy who is in the military, and the first thing he does as he's getting up and making a whole point like, hey, I'm the NCAA champion, is snaps off a salute at the commander-in-chief. I'm like, that was cool.
But he's got his priorities in order, man.
Yeah.
His military service means so much to him that it was secondary. The winning the national championship was secondary to his service to his nation. That's America right there. There's nothing greater than that. I'm so proud of that kid. I couldn't believe it. I think I watched that a dozen times. I hearted it. I favorited it. I shared it.
I watched the entirety of the match, back on the internet.
Okay.
And to hear the commentary,
dude,
from ESPN, the people that know wrestling, and they're like, this is incredible. This is impossible. This is what's happening.
Love it.
It was so cool.
It. So good. Glad you're with us on this Monday morning.
Yeah, if you need to pick me up,
dude,
just go look that up.
Look it up. You will be on a high the rest of the day.
NCAA heavyweight championship wrestling match over the weekend.
It was extraordinary. Oh, Captain America. When we continue, the left continues to get caught in the traps that they set for themselves. Knuckleheads. Next on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
Donald Trump's education department's announced 60 more colleges and universities today will be having their federal funding taken away over Jew-hating harassment, including 60 more warned, including Brown, Columbia, Cornell, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Rutgers, Newark, Sarah Lawrence, State University of New York, the New School, and Wellesley. Federal Jew-hating task force pulled back $400 million from Columbia, and now they're going after a whole bunch more, 60 of them on the ticket. Warn, you're next.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. At A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. We handle bonds from local to federal for any jail in any city. And in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
True Prep on Cobb Parkway is your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies, including freeze-dried food, water filtration, first aid, and more. They also have a large selection of firearms, including a huge selection of AR-15s, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices around. They're locally owned and operated, and you can visit their store in Marietta on Cobb Parkway or online at trueprep.com. That's truprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow at True Prep.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Attention Warriors, are you a veteran ready to navigate to success after service? Tune in to the Warrior Alliance Network. Join us as we spotlight inspiring stories, provide essential resources, and connect you with a community dedicated to empowering veterans. From career advice to health and wellness tips, the Warrior Alliance Network is your go-to hub for post-service success. Tune in Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Extra 106.3. Join us on the mission, the Warrior Alliance Network, where warriors thrive together. Visit us at thewarrioralliance.org for more information.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disclosed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A 9-year-old boy from North Carolina who saved his friend from choking makes today's Dean's List. Jason Branch was playing basketball with his buddy Donye during recess when all of a sudden his buddy began gasping for air. He had taken a bite of a granola bar and it got caught in his throat. That's when Jason jumped into action and performed the Heimlich maneuver.
I didn't know he was actually choking, so I just did my thing.
He reached around his friend's torso to complete the compressions, and he was able to dislodge the granola bar and save Donye's life. Jason says he learned the life-saving technique on YouTube after watching a teacher perform it on a student. Friends, family, parents, and kids at his school have taken notice of Jason's bravery and say they are proud to know him. And hopefully, more people will learn how to perform the Heimlich maneuver just like Jason. Janice Dean, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, March 24th. Governor Kemp confirmed over the weekend that authorities are working with ICE to deport a man accused of killing a Marietta woman earlier this month. David Hector Rivas is a Honduran national who has been in the country illegally since 2021. He is being held at the Cobb County Jail until his removal from the country. Authorities are reminding parents to stay alert after a failed kidnapping attempt at Walmart in Ackworth. Police say they arrested 56-year-old Mahendra Patel after he tried to abduct a 2-year-old child from their mother. In national news, a federal court is hearing arguments today about the deportation flights of illegal gang members. Ceasefire talks continue in Saudi Arabia between Russia and Ukraine. And Usha Vance, the second lady, and a party of U.S. officials are visiting Greenland. Today's weather: overnight storms are clearing out this morning around the Atlanta area. It'll be mostly cloudy today, starting out in the mid-50s. This afternoon, we'll reach into the high 60s. Tomorrow looks sunny with highs in the mid-70s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
I guess we could talk about Megan Rapinoe because we hadn't talked about her enough lately.
No, and I think this is a bigger question because Megan Rapinoe, once again, this was over in the Daily Mail over in Europe, over in Britain, and she once again reiterated her support for men playing women's sports, which is going to be just a huge issue moving forward. I like how you put it, Tug. You want to know how certain people are going to lose their seats, it's going to be over this issue.
It's a sleeper issue, man. It was in the election.
Yep.
And it continues to be. John Ossoff with the ad that's attacking him for that exact thing.
It's going to hurt him moving forward.
Of course it is.
But I'm curious about this, and this is a bear trap on the left. Like, have you ever heard when somebody says, "Oh, I stepped in a bear trap"? It's when you get caught in this moment. For instance, I have a friend of ours, Mark Zeno. Mark Zeno was talking with my friend Matt Chernoff, and Matt hosts Afternoon Drive Down the Hall. And Matt was making a joke about his mom passing away, and Zeno joined in. He's like, "Oh yeah, she got hit by a car and flew off a cliff." And Chernoff goes, "No, really, Mark, my mom is dead."
Oh, I remember this. I remember you telling me about this.
And Zeno goes, "Well, sorry for your loss then." Like, he is in the bear trap.
Yeah.
Like, he
there's
is
no escaping
firmly in. Now, Matt loves to lay out bear traps for people to see if you'll step in it.
Got it.
But when you
and then how you respond, because then it becomes entertaining.
So when you get caught in the bear trap, there's not a lot you can do. You're just stuck. And it's the worst place to be in a conversation. I'm curious if the Megan Rapinoes and the Whoopi Goldbergs of the world recognize that they're in a position that they will always have a future and can always be icons of this party, this movement, this whatever it is, as long as they don't escape the bear trap. As long as they stay in this area of there's no difference in men and women, that these trans players can play against anybody else. As long as you don't step out of that bear trap, you're fine. Your future depends on it. Your future depends on it.
Yeah.
Like Gavin Newsom now suddenly does not have a future in politics based off of what he said.
Definitely in the Democrat Party.
And so, but that's where it all comes back to. If you want to remain in good standing, you have to stay in this make-a-believe bear trap land.
Which is why when we played the audio yesterday of Whoopi Goldberg saying they're going to come after American citizens next, like, she knows that's not the case. She knows there's a difference in American citizens and their freedom of speech, and then someone that's on a visa or a green card that is a guest, and that can be removed, that can be taken away. She knows that difference. We all know that difference. You listening right now know the difference. But for her, that's her protector. That's her shield. They can never come after me because I say the right things.
I say the right things. I stay in good standing.
I am one of you.
I am one of you. Yes. Once again, in their own way. That's how they're able to do it. Because if I showed up here tomorrow and, I don't know, maybe I got hit in the head, fell off a bike, who knows? And all I started talking...
turned on you.
Yes. They finally have decided, he ain't that trans, man. Maybe
he doesn't really like sparkly things.
Maybe we should go after him. He's not trans enough. So by the time that I then suffer this head wound and I come on the air and the first thing I start talking about is the virtual lock for the presidency that AOC is and how I back all of her belief system and here's where things are going. And
I'd be checking your head for fever.
Yeah, I'd be like, yes, comrade, this is what's going on. You would know that I stepped out and like, wait a minute, I don't think what he's talking about is really conducive to this audience, except for John. You'd be like, our liberal friends would be like, man, Los is really with it today. But that's what I'm saying. It's that the minute that Megan Rapinoe if she was to ever say something that is even slightly outside the norm, she's ostracized. Same thing with Whoopi. Gavin Newsom didn't say anything that was all that abrasive, yet he's out. Chuck Schumer, the highest-ranking Democrat, decided to work with Trump on a CR. Out. You cannot step out of the bear trap. You are stuck in it. And if you step out of it, your money-making, your ability to have a future is gone.
It becomes an entertainer almost.
Yes.
You have to play the part instead of what you really believe. And I do believe that a lot of Democrats are feeling that. Because they know if they speak up, most Democrats, I feel confident that most Democrats with daughters don't want men in their dressing rooms with their daughters, but they can't say it or they're afraid to say it.
But that's why you had, just as you noted, 300,000 registered Democrats that left the party in the last couple of months, in the last month. It's because, in my opinion, that they want to be able to have an opinion that might be contrary. Right now, there's a civil war going on within the Democrat Party. What is the direction of the party? Where is it going? What are the ideas that are going to be best? But right now, that civil war, in part, is if you have a different idea within the party, don't say a word. And that's what's causing people to leave the party.
300,000 last month. I mean, these people are walking away in record numbers because they're fed up with it. They're not in a position of power, so they can just say, this is not for me, I'm done. But if that's your moneymaker, if that's how you make your living, what do you always say? If they came in tomorrow and said, we're going to be Air America, we would figure out a way to do the show. It wouldn't be what we believe.
I'd be like, so Rachel Maddow was awesome last night.
I can't wait to get my hair cut just like hers.
What am I going to say? Wouldn't last. As I've joked around about, if you gave me, because I don't have any morals or scruples when it comes to this stuff, if you were to like, Los, Al-Qaeda wants to advertise on the air and they're going to give you $1 million a month, I'd be like, Los here for Al-Qaeda. Do you need a new friend group?
He says that in jest, and here's why I know that that's in jest. To prove the point.
I, too, like to wear white and hang out in the desert. Do you like to get on monkey bars to train? I do, too. Here's my Kalashnikov.
To get on monkey bars. Because that's always in those videos. We don't let our kids have monkey bars on the playground.
We have Al-Qaeda that gets on monkey bars.
That's where they all came from.
Do you have a hard time with jumping jacks?
Join Al-Qaeda. Here's how I know that Los does this to prove the point, and it's very funny in the way he does it.
This is how it works on the other side, really.
You're right. Because when they came in and asked us all to speak on behalf of the shot,
the COVID vaccine, we were like, no,
absolutely not.
But we're going to pay you.
They couldn't believe it. The sales guy, table.
When they tell you have to talk about this for 1 minute a day, 1 minute a day, and they're talking about several thousands of dollars over the course of a time period, and we all went, no,
not a chance.
No. Leave the room now. No.
Yeah. So if Los comes in and he's got a nail sticking out of his head and he's talking funny, we know what has happened, that this is not the Los that we know and love. But he's compromised right now.
But if Whoopi Goldberg does the same thing, it's going to be the same way. Check her head.
Yeah, right.
Has she fallen off something?
She has to have fever.
Does she have Ebola? Like, what is going on here? Because when you start speaking sanely on that side,
you're ostracized.
It's not even. You know what? I don't even want to say sanely because
that's pretty close. That's good.
What I would point is this: if you speak of compromise,
yeah, they'll have none of that either.
You're out.
But I think it's closer to sane. If 80% of the country realizes and recognizes.
If we were to talk about between me and a liberal, and we were to discuss, hey, we need peace in Eastern Europe, and a ceasefire is a good idea, and they can work this thing out, and let's make sure that we have peace moving forward so it doesn't threaten the rest of Europe, and the Russians are no longer on the aggressive side of things. We would both agree to that. The problem is that once that liberal went back to their liberal friends, they would all tell that person, you're in the wrong, Viva Ukraine, let's keep this thing going, and then they would cast them out as a leper.
Chuck Schumer's the example.
Yes, he is.
It's happening right now to him. That's the reason he did the media rounds to try to get himself back on the island.
Try to make sure, no, I'm still communist.
Yeah. I promise you I am. I had to compromise because if I didn't, it was going to be laid at our feet. Didn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's why he's making the media rounds.
I caught about 15 minutes of Jesse Kelly yesterday, and I thought that he did a really good job of something that we've brought up, how when Barack Obama got into power, he pulled that party so far to the left with identity politics and his belief system that the whole party started to emulate what mattered to Barack Obama. And largely, that was what the plan was with Hillary Clinton, and that is what Joe Biden was able to extend for another 4 years.
And Kamala would have continued.
And so that portion of what used to be that Bill Clinton Democrat does not exist anymore. In fact, most of the time they're with us. So until the left starts to take their party back from this wild woke politics and identity politics and leaving behind the working man and being a coalition of people that all feel that they've been victimized, until you do that, whenever there is compromise, that person gets ostracized. That's what happened to Schumer.
You're right, and they can't do that. I don't think they're strong enough to take back the party. And that's why I keep saying I think there's going to have to be a subset party, a different party, maybe a Tea Party like the Republicans had for a little while before they got their act together, and now they're more powerful than they ever were.
But power is seductive.
Oh, sure it is.
And I will point this out in this way. Look at the changes to the Republican Party under Donald Trump. Somebody that we know has been able to win 2 elections, probably 3, but he's been able to win a multitude of elections in this country. And what has he pushed for? The man in 2015, 2016 was talking about adding LGBTQ.
Yeah. Well, Scott Bessent.
Well, I mean, remember, he looked at when we're going to the Republican National Convention, and he's like, we don't have anything about LGBTQ in here. What do you think we should do? We need to add this. This is important. When it comes to abortion, hey, we're going to have abortion in this country. It's going back to the states. The states will then decide what's going to happen. It will be legal, but there will be reductions in when and how. That's the original Roe versus Wade. The original ruling in the 70s, abortion was legal, but there were restrictions based on that the state and also the mother both have an interest in that child. That's what got thrown out the window with Planned Parenthood in the 90s. Okay, with all that being said, Donald Trump has changed the Republican Party drastically from a party that we had to wonder about, will the evangelical Christians show up to vote? They still are, but that used to be the basis of everything.
I'm one of them.
Yes.
I had to. What was I going to choose? I mean, I had to compromise. Am I going to vote for Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton? Absolutely not. Do I love his stance on it? No. But it's one of those that there was no choice in the matter. It is abortion on demand up until birth, sometimes even after. Ask the people in Maryland. Or kick it back to the states where I know in my state is a pretty conservative state, and it's going to be very, very limited. I would choose none. I don't support abortion. Very rare occasions. There are incest, rape, and I understand it. I don't even like it then, but I understand it. And so his kicking it back to the states actually appeased me and evangelicals, I think.
So in the interest of power, because again, as you said, you compromised in the interest of power, in the interest of leadership that's representing you with a multitude, not all, but a multitude of your values. At some point, in the interest of power, the Democrats are going to have to find leadership that will not represent every one of their values.
I don't think they can, dude.
Can they be mature enough?
I don't know. I don't think they can.
But that's the cult mindset.
It is, of course.
That's a trade-off. As I've said before, even in my life, we had a medical situation where we weren't sure we were going to have a viable child, and we decided, even when we got some bad news, this is what we're going to do moving forward. Now, fortunately, little miracle, it all worked out. But that was our decision, and we decided, even though I support that abortion is legal, it's not for me. This is where my morals lie. That's the flexibility that I have. The Democrats do not demonstrate flexibility within their moral standpoint.
Yeah.
Because the minute you show any flexibility, or as I said, compromise, you're out.
You're out.
You're in trouble. You're no longer down with the cult.
You're watching Chuck, and you know now that Gavin Newsom won't be able to be elected. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Thanks for being here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we continue, a voice in the Democrat Party, he has given Democrats a healthy dose of reality. Let you hear what he said next on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 24th. The NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, the South Regional, will occur here in Atlanta this upcoming weekend. Ole Miss and Michigan State will match up on Friday, as will top-seeded Auburn and Michigan. Winner of the region moves on to the Final Four. For Major League Baseball, the Braves made a move over the weekend. Pitcher Ian Anderson has been traded to the Anaheim Angels in exchange for pitcher Joe Suarez. Anderson was 22-13 during his time as a Brave, but dealt with injuries over the past 2 seasons. On the field, the Braves, they will open up the season this week as they will finish up spring training over the next couple of days. The Braves will match up with the Cubs this afternoon. First pitch is set for 4:05. You can hear that game on our sister station's app, the all-new 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Don't miss the Braves opening homestand at Truist Park, April 4th through the 10th, when the Marlins and Phillies come to town. Fans can enjoy the first gate giveaway this season, featuring the Chris Sales Cy Young bobblehead presented by Delta on April 9th.
2-2. Goodbye. It is a 1-2-3 shutdown inning for Chris Sale.
Make sure to grab your bobblehead and get to your seats, as the Braves will celebrate Sale's 2024 accomplishments with an on-field ceremony before the game. Visit Braves.com/promos to purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
You have enough to deal with after an accident. You don't want to spend a lot of that time messing around with insurance companies. Besides, what are you going to say to them? You really know the ins and outs? David Van Sant at Van Sant Law does. He used to work for the insurance companies. Their worst nightmare. He knows who to call, what to say, how to listen to them, and he has your best interest at heart. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
Are you tired of dealing with drafty, inefficient windows? Do you have certain rooms in the house that you can't keep cool in the summer or warm in the winter? Hi, I'm Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons Garage Entry Doors and Windows. It's time to upgrade these old windows. Replace them with double-pane, beautiful, energy-efficient windows. Your new windows will help you regulate a perfect temperature throughout your house. Start saving big money on your energy bills and improve the curb appeal of your home. Give us a call today at 770-517-7078.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
A message for qualified investors from Noble Gold Investments. If your portfolio is over $250,000 and you aren't hedged, you're sitting on a ticking time bomb. With markets at all-time highs, history tells us what comes next. A 10% allocation into gold and silver can help diversify. Experienced investors know that in times of economic uncertainty, real assets, not paper promises, offer true security. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy to add institutional-grade gold and silver to your portfolio so you can hedge like the world's smartest investors. For nearly a decade, Noble Gold has helped thousands of Americans protect their future, turning numbers on a screen into real, tangible assets. And right now, when you make a qualified investment, Noble Gold will add a free 10th-ounce gold coin to your order. Disciplined investors protect what they've built. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com today. NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Securing America. There has been a lot of debate over last week's flight, which deported suspected Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. The administration has been adamant that the flight was in the air before a federal judge ordered it turned around. Border czar Tom Homan said while appearing Sunday on ABC's This Week that all of the Venezuelans on the plane were determined to be members of the gang Tren de Aragua.
And TDA's been determined to be terrorist organizations. They are now classified as terrorists, so that plane removed 240 terrorists from the United States.
Homan says the administration's actions will continue and that illegal border crossings are now down 96%. But the issue is about more than just illegal immigration.
We're going to secure that border, make sure no public safety threats or national security threats cross that border and get away.
Homan says about 40,000 criminals have been deported since President Trump took office. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
The president said it himself.
America is back.
And Extra 106.3 continues on as the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. The news changes by the day, and you can count on Extra 106.3 to bring it to you straight every day without the spin. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
I was in Charleston on Friday, so I didn't have a chance to see Kimmer be shot out of a cannon. To celebrate Atlanta Safe House big weekend sale. It was huge. Yeah, they always do great stuff. AtlantaSafehouse.com is their website. But, he was juggling knives.
Jumping through fire hoops.
Yes, all that. But I think the main event, right, was the being shot out of the cannon thing?
Yeah, and apparently it didn't go so well in California with somebody who tried to emulate Kimmer as Rocket Man Valencia. He caught the net, the edge of the net. And then he flew off the net and suffered a broken wrist and a lacerated spleen, among other injuries.
But that's tough. The human cannonball needs to take lessons from the Kimmer. Pay attention to what Kimmer does. That's what we do in the morning show.
Safety first.
We pay attention to what Kimmer does. We want to be successful like Kimmer has been for how many years? I mean, dude's been in Atlanta radio for decades. He's been, in media for years and years and years. He's a pro. He's a pro's pro. And this Valencia character, he's like, I could do what Kimmer does.
Well, they blamed it on the wind.
Oh, of course they did.
That, of course, their calculations were not right, and that's why he did not land right in the middle of the net.
Guess what Kimmer didn't blame?
He didn't blame the wind. Because
he didn't blame anything because he hit it right where he was supposed to.
He does the math, and that's why he always lands perfectly.
On his feet.
That's right, yeah, on his feet. After a triple somersault and things,
At times.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So, we hope the knockoff Kimmer gets to feeling better.
Rocket Man Valencia.
Charlemagne the God had to give his party a dose of reality, Los. You can't just go around act like you know what you're doing like Valencia did when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm actually really enjoying that. Granted, for a guy who has a morning show, for a guy who's able to speak with a large amount of the country, he's making it a point to, jump on other podcasts, jump with it in with other people. In this case, like I said, he was meeting with, I believe this was Andrew Schultz, who, by the way, his Netflix special that just came out last week, really funny.
Okay.
So he's done his podcast a handful of times. And Charlemagne the God got to this point of saying, if you're identifying as a Democrat, you're doing it wrong. Take a listen.
If you're a Democrat, I'm going to tell you the worst thing that you could do right now. Speak for that party. Okay? That party's brand is in such disarray. They have no ideology. The people that are actually governing, like the Josh Shapiro's, the Gretchen Whitners, the Wes Moores, y'all stay in y'all states and keep governing and doing the work.
That's it.
Distance yourself from all of that that's going on in D.C. Distance yourself from the party and speak for you.
That's it.
That's what I love what Josh Shapiro was doing on Friday.
Yo.
He didn't speak for the party. He was like, let me tell you what I did.
Yeah.
In
For my people.
Yes.
And then what will happen is we'll see you doing that for your people, and then we'll start going, I wouldn't mind if he did that for me.
Listen, I think, first of all, I like Josh Shapiro a lot. I think he would be a great candidate for 2028, but this is my only problem. My only problem with the Democratic Party is that even the people that are good, the brand of being a Democrat is so bad.
Yeah, you got to rebrand that.
They shit up.
Yeah, it's done. I just love that as much as he is a guy who predominantly speaks to a Democrat audience.
Sure. He's not afraid to tell the truth.
But he's not afraid to tell you, keep that stuff local because it ain't working nationally right now.
And it's not going to get any better. I mean, you have Bernie Sanders and AOC being promoted as the new face of the party. You're talking about completely going against what the American people say they want. They do not want socialism. They do not want communism. And both of them represent that wing, that faction of the far left part of the Democrat Party. And they're saying, yep, that's our true north.
So we have a nutty person who follows me on Twitter and who enjoys the show, I would believe, or at least gets up to listen to it so he can be frustrated. And his point about it over the weekend was, good, finally, a place for those of us upset at the dictator can have a home. And my standpoint was, you just had an election 4 months ago, you idiot. Like, oh, you've got a voice now? You found a place now? 4 months ago, you had a voice. And guess what? You got your ass kicked. And then you decide to march out a more emotional woman with a devout communist, and you think this is a good idea? This is the death throes of the Democrat Party.
No, it is.
This is the end of it.
It's exactly
this
right,
is how
man.
it dies.
That's why I keep saying there's got to be a different party that springs up from it. So some of those people that are at least level-headed, I don't have to agree with them all the time, but they at least try to make an attempt to be level-headed and speak to the American people. Socialism and communism does not speak to the American people, and there's no place for those people in the Democrat Party as it is. There's got to be something different.
America pushed back on all of this over 7 swing states, and your response
including Josh Shapiro's, by the way.
And in response to having drunken Kamala Harris, allegedly, and gay Tim Walz, allegedly, was to go get somebody who is an older option and more when it comes to being communist, to Bernie Sanders, and to go get an even more emotional woman who happened to win a competition to be an actress for the Democrat Party, who was a bartender. This is your answer? This is your answer to getting smashed in an election last November?
Nobody's taking that serious. I mean, the people, the hardcore Aunt Pegs, Uncle Chip, whatever, they'll revel in it.
They're
love
hoping
it.
for anything.
But the American people aren't taking that serious. No. Nobody looks at AOC. Nobody. I don't care what side of the party you're on. Nobody looks at AOC and is like, yep, that's who I would fall right in line.
She's here for
her.
jugs, and that's it. Jugs and bad audio statements.
Yeah.
That is your benefit. Why is AOC in power? So I can watch somebody speak silly and show jugs. All right, that's it. That's all. What other redeeming quality is there? Whenever she has a town hall in her own district, they shout her down.
That's right. Absolutely right. And they're not paid to.
No, they actually show up for free. They're legitimate mad.
Right, because the nonsense that she spreads and the ideas that she has that are always failing, those people suffer under those rules, those policies, those ideas. That's why they show up and scream. They don't need to be paid because they're furious. And I want to say that the last time she was elected, it was like 15,000 people actually voted. The numbers were so low. If anybody goes in and makes any sense, I mean, they could still run as a moderate Democrat, I think, and beat her. I think her time is coming. They're going to have to draft her and put her in a different position, put her in a different place, because the American people, especially the people that she represents, are going to say no more of this.
She lives in a wildly left district. And yet, in order to get in the last time in 2024, she received 132,000 votes. All right, that's a county. All right, that's a county around here.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yes.
And yet they're like, hey, maybe
Let's
she
make
can
her the face.
Maybe she can be the face and lead the free world, just because the CNN polling says that she should be winning, that 10% of the Democrat Party believes that she should run. It still comes down to this. She cannot win.
There's not a chance.
And yes, please march out another emotional woman. I mean, you already gave me Hillary. You already gave me Kamala Harris. Bring on the next one. The party of the cat ladies keeps going to cat ladies.
And don't forget that guy. The guy that's always talking about how, everything is rich. I thought about this weekend. You tell me what you think. Have you noticed that the language has changed just slightly with the Democrats? Now it's those billionaires. They're trying to give. It used to be millionaires. You know why it's not? I just came to this realization. It's not millionaires anymore. It has to be billionaires, because all the Democrats are millionaires. They can't yell about being millionaires because they've used the system to enrich themselves, and they can't yell about the millionaires helping out each other. Now it's got to be billionaires.
And
that's my observation.
And here's the problem that they have, and CNN had it over the weekend. 63% of the country are on board with Doge and that particular billionaire. Do you realize, Elon Musk right now is more popular in politics, not just in politics, then Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is at an all-time high in popularity.
Yeah.
And yet Elon is like, whoa, okay.
I think I read it in the Washington Post this weekend. Somebody had shared a Washington Post article, and it talked about how Republican support of mass deportations, this is like 89% or something, this gigantic number. But the one that even stunned me more was that 61% of Democrats are in favor of mass deportations. It's continued to be very, very popular. Just something to think about, AOC. Just something to think about, Bernie. The American people want their country back. And they love seeing that Air Force veteran win a national championship and salute his commander-in-chief. They want to be proud of their country. They want to get order in their country, the one they're going to leave to their kids and grandkids. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. A lesson on how much you are winning next. And this goes to the Tesla stock example. That's next on Extra 106.3.
Everything to a Marxist is political. They lose their humanity. That's why they have so many atrocities in the communist countries. They're not Democrats. They're communists.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Experience luxury like never before behind the wheel of a brand new Cadillac from Jim Ellis Cadillac.
From the iconic Escalade to the innovative electric Lyric, Jim Ellis Cadillac offers the models you know and love, along with the latest in luxury EVs.
And the buying experience just as luxurious as the Cadillac name itself. With great prices, a great selection, and a team of knowledgeable sales associates, you'll love shopping at their showroom conveniently located on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter.
Prefer to shop from home? Visit JimEllisCadillac.com, where you can browse all the latest offers and even start or complete your entire purchase online with the Jim Ellis Expressway.
Want to try before you buy? Schedule an at-home test drive and enjoy the convenience of home vehicle delivery. Luxury is waiting. Experience it today at Jim Ellis Cadillac. Jim Ellis Cadillac, where you can always expect the best.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
It's March 24th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Cheesesteak Day. If you're from the city of brotherly love, there remains one question that has divided the town for decades. Who makes the best cheesesteak sandwich? Is it Pat's King of Steaks or Geno's Steaks? As for who invented the city's iconic sandwich, the credit goes to Pat Olivieri, who apparently created the sandwich in the 1930s as a change of pace from his hot dog stand. Today, a traditional Philly cheesesteak is still made from these basic ingredients: chopped steak, onions, and cheese whiz or provolone served on a hoagie roll. So the next time you're in Philly, make sure to get yourself this delicious piece of culinary history. Also on this date, in 1947, the Congress proposes that the president serve for a maximum of 2 terms in office. If it's your birthday today, you share it with the great escape artist and magician Harry Houdini, born in 1874, and actor Steve McQueen, born in 1930. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A young man from England who turned a class project into a beautiful gesture towards families who have lost loved ones makes today's Dean's List. Ben was clearing away debris and washing his grandmother's headstone at the cemetery. He wanted to offer to do the same for others. He was then flooded with requests from families offering money for his services, and that's when he decided to give the funds to a charity that pays for memorials on behalf of parents who have lost children. Ben called his business Guardians of the Headstones, and there were hundreds of requests after the stories made headlines across the country. Ben says the response has been overwhelmingly positive and that, quote, people have been so kind to support a weird idea like mine. There's always good in the world, he says, and that's what's lovely. Ben, you are a very good human. You made today's Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
More talking to stop the fighting in Ukraine. And I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Our job is to narrow the issues, bring the parties together, and stop the killing.
That's what Special U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff told Fox News Sunday. He expects real progress.
Officials from the United States and Russia are meeting now in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They follow talks between the U.S. and Ukraine last night, described by the Ukrainian defense minister as productive and focused. The Trump administration wants an immediate partial ceasefire and later a comprehensive peace deal.
As Fox's Jonathan Savage. Israel bombed a hospital in Gaza, killing a Hamas political leader and a teenage boy. Palestinian officials say as they put the number of deaths in the war in Gaza now over 50,000. Venezuela's accepted a flight of 199 illegal immigrants deported by the U.S. as a court fight continues today over flights a week ago.
The Trump administration is defiant. They say they have the authority to deport migrants whom they say are national security threats. They are expected to double down on that argument today. This comes as the administration's standoff with federal judge James Boasberg escalates. Boasberg calls the president's expanded use of the Alien Enemies Act problematic. And he's also promising to find out whether the administration flouted his order to turn deportation flights to El Salvador back around.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. The Senate's Minority Leader Chuck Schumer insists he's not stepping down, as Fox's Gernal Scott reports, pushing back on the push from Democrats.
Senator Schumer on NBC's Meet the Press said he'll continue to lead Senate Democrats despite calls within his party to step down for voting to back a GOP continuing resolution to avoid a government shutdown. He said Republicans would keep going
for 6 months, 9 months, a year, till everyone was furloughed and gone and quit, and there'd be no way to stop it.
Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who caucuses with Democrats, said on ABC's This Week,
well, Schumer is the leader of the party, and it should not have happened.
America's listening to Fox News.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
For hourly Fox News updates and the best in conservative news and talk, keep it on Extra 106.3 or download the Extra 106.3 app.
It's been brought to my attention that there is a speeding problem at the University of Georgia. I don't know that Nitro Tuggle was indefinitely released from the football team because of speeding, but that's what I feel like I read. I guess it was last week.
How do you slow down if your name's Nitro?
Son, ask the question and get me an answer because I don't know. You were built to go fast.
And
like Lightning McQueen.
And everybody who's a top recruit already has like a pretty nice car.
Yeah.
These are not the days of Patrick Kearney. If you remember Patrick Kearney, who was a first-round draft pick out of Virginia, played for the Falcons for years, that man, every single time I saw him at Flowery Branch, was driving the same truck he'd been driving since he was 16.
I love that. A less popular Falcon in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Used to drive an old beat-up van.
Yeah.
And then, because our former coworker, former quarterback at the University of Georgia, Hudson Mason, would ride to practice with him when they were both in camp with the
Washington.
Yeah, with the Commanders now. Redskins.
Riding in his beater.
He was like, dude, it looked like an old beat-up work van or a frightening van that was driving through a neighborhood, either one of those. But
if it had a song that would play out of it for ice cream, most parents would be like, you're not going out there.
Stay back, baby. Stay back. But there's a new problem was speeding at the University of Georgia, and it has nothing to do with the football team. I don't know if you've seen the hot mugshot girl.
All right, when you pass this around, by the way, this was yesterday when you sent it over to me.
Yep.
So it had been out since I guess she got picked up on Thursday.
That's right. Yep.
And by Friday afternoon, everyone's like, I can fix her.
This is the second time she's gotten arrested, though, because it happened, I guess, a couple weeks ago, and she made waves. And I kind of remember seeing it, but not really. You know, it was just one of those things you see in your feed and, you know, pay much attention to. And she had this mugshot, and she looked like a Barbie doll.
I'll just say this. I have a friend of mine who now just had child number 2.
I can fix her.
All right, child number 2. Her and her husband are doing their thing. They've got their little family. It's now a family of 4. The only reason I'm not saying her name is because she got a DUI in college.
Oh, wow.
And she was a little bit of a athlete beauty queen.
Oh, okay.
All right, you can fix it, okay?
Yeah.
Like you then can become oops, I messed up and let me now fix this from here.
Lily Stewart, 20, University of Georgia. She got arrested again, but this time not for, I guess, driving. This one was like eluding and obstruction and loitering. And the mugshot was still a nice one.
I like that. They said loitering / prowling.
Prowling?
She was on the prowl, baby.
What was she doing? Like, how do these... now,
Cougar
granted,
training.
Police officers will apply... I would just say this. Police officers will apply according to the scenario. All right, what was she doing? Okay, what does that mean? And then you get, like, certain charges.
Yeah, because her speeding charge apparently was dropped from earlier in the month, and she just, she's had to do whatever she had to do. This time, they kept her in jail until like 5:26 in the morning, and then they let her go on $4,000 bond. But girl is getting plenty of attention. I don't know if it's good or bad, to be honest with you, because these days, any attention is good attention. There's no such thing as bad press. Any press is good press. No press is bad press. So I don't know where this is. This like Haktua Girl, where she blows up and she's got a podcast and she's got her own line of liquor and facial cream
And,
or whatever,
Bitcoin to steal off people.
Exactly right. I'm hoping
her own rogue pool.
I'm hoping Lily don't go down that path.
Well, you can tell she didn't even try to do the classic hot girl thing where you cry and go for it because her mascara, her makeup is great. In
Yeah,
the
it's
photo.
pristine.
She pretty much said, "Yeah, I did it."
Yeah. What you think about that?
Good for you, Lily.
That's right. Exactly.
Might be a do you know who my daddy is situation.
Could have been. I don't know, man. Somebody needs to holler at them at the University of Georgia. Be like, hey, let's get our act together. We got a lot of attention on the university right now. Let's keep it good.
Again, friend of mine is now 32 years old, second kid, had the same thing happen to her like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
As long as there's the University of Georgia and such a thing as cars, this will happen.
It's going to happen. No, I agree. I know, and it has traditionally. It's not like a new thing.
And we're getting closer to here's a car that drives itself.
No kidding.
All right, we'll figure it out from there.
That's what we need. That way it just, you don't have to worry about it.
Lyft is about to have some self-driving taxis around the metro area coming up in May, so look out for those.
That scares me. So it does scare me a little bit, but we'll see how it shakes. I could see where it would be handy, though, if you're you're 3 sheets to the wind over at the bars, and you just hit the phone, car comes and picks you up, your own car, and it drives you on home. Right. Ain't no way to get a DUI that way.
I'm going to contend this with our good, strong listener, Stephanie, who pointed out the hot chick matrix. Mm-hmm. The further, the hotter they are, the crazier they are.
Yep.
I'll just say this. Because she says that she's got some crazy eyes.
The second mugshot, that was the whole thing. Even TMZ was talking about it. In the second mugshot, crazy eyes appeared.
First one looks pretty general.
Yep.
Second one,
crazy eyes,
giving me a little bit of hint of crazy eyes.
Yes.
Now, granted, all of you women, including you, Stephanie, can be crazy, but not crazy on a regular basis. I know Stephanie; she's not a crazy lady, but this one, when she had the second picture is the one that she's going to take all my clothes and burn it in the tub and burn down my house.
Yeah, she's singing Before He Cheats, Carrie Underwood, talking about lighting trucks on fire and that sort of stuff.
She thought you showed up home late and she decided to slash all your tires, even though it was because, I don't know, Dave had to wait 20 minutes to pay his tab.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I know he's cheating on me. What are you talking about?
Mean to you in the morning because she dreamed about you talking to another girl.
That's right. That's when things have gone way south.
Do it. It's one of my favorite videos is the guy who he has his girlfriend who's complaining about him, and he's like, I know she's crazy because she dreamed it. She dreamed that I cheated on her, and so she's
now,
like posting about how he did this to me, and he's like, she dreamed it.
I didn't even do it. So anyway, let's clean it up over at Athens a little bit. Let's clean it up because we've been winning. Look, University of Georgia's been winning. A couple back-to-back national championships in the last couple years in the college football playoff this year. Basketball team made it to the big dance. It didn't go all that well, but you got there first time out in 10 years. Baseball team, I think they took the series against Florida this weekend. We've been winning in Athens. Let's continue winning, just like we're winning across the board with Donald Trump.
So much winning. All right, so this is Exhibit 1, Winning Part 1. If you remember, as you tuned into your favorite radio guys in the morning, you remember hearing from Tim Walz last week. And Tim Walz got up on stage, and he did his jazz hands and his kicks and all the stuff that really masculine Democrat men do, of course. And he brought it up as he pulled out his phone to let everybody know, I keep a stock app on my phone and look over at Tesla, 225 and falling. Now, he had to step up this weekend and point out, I was just kidding.
I was just joking.
They don't have a sense of humor. I'm like, no, you weren't. I told you got in trouble. Your staff didn't stop you. Nobody even checked the fact that you have so many people in Minnesota that have Tesla as a retirement retirement stock.
And their pension, and their pension is deeply tied to Tesla. So he was cheering against his own Minnesotans.
Here's how you know you're winning. Did you see what happened close on Friday? So by the time that this all played out, here's Tim Walz, a former candidate for vice president with his jazz hands and his gay kicks and all that sort of stuff, bragging about 225 and falling. Friday, it closed at 248. Do you realize how big of a swing that is to see something go up by $23 over the span of basically 72 hours? What is happening? And you now have Tesla dealerships that are pointing it out. They can't keep inventory on the lots right now. How wild is it that a product that was largely a product of the left, the EV push, and granted, I've been in Teslas. They're fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fun vehicle. All right, it's not for me, maybe down the road, but it's a fun vehicle. You now have, the harder they push against it and the harder they vandalize it, the more our side is doing this. We did it to Bud Light. We did it to Target. Now they're trying to, let's see if we can drive down this stuff with Tesla. What I'm telling you is that they are such a minority and such a small faction. As much as they show it on TV, as much as they want to act like they're bigger than they are, moving a stock price from 225 to 248 in the span of 72 hours, we are much bigger than them. We're much more powerful than them, and that's why they're scared of us. That's winning.
And there's even Democrats. I can't speak for Democrats, but I guarantee it. I would bet anything I have on it. There's Democrats that love EV. There's Democrats that love Tesla. And there's Democrats that are going, I don't have to agree with the guy that owns, 14% of Tesla and that runs the company. I don't have to agree with him to appreciate the product. And I don't have to agree with them to drive the product. It's still an amazing product. And when they see people reacting, destroying things that people work so hard for, that's when even I think moderate, maybe even center-left Democrats are like, this is too much, man. You're carving Nazi symbols into the side of people's car that they've worked hard for. They got nothing to do with the politics. They got nothing to do with Elon Musk. They never met Elon Musk. They don't know Elon Musk. And how many Democrats have bought those cars over the years, and now actual Democrats are getting their cars vandalized? That's where I think people are like, I've had enough of this. I am sick of it. There's nothing that pisses me off more than people ruining the things that some other person has worked so hard for. I think it's so instinctual. I grew up, very modest. Still to this day, my mama bought a new trailer. It wasn't even new. I tell you that, new to her. She moved from the house that we grew up in.
No wheels underneath, though.
Well, no, yeah. No,
oh, wheels.
Oh, yeah. It's just that underpinning. You can't see it. You just can't see it. Yeah, that's right. She's upgraded. But that's the thing. We grew up very modest, and it used to piss me off worse than anything when someone would destroy someone else's stuff. It didn't matter what it was. Or take someone else's stuff, because I know how hard people work for it, dude. And I think when moderate Democrats even have their cars, damaged, they're like, too much. Enough's enough.
But that is why if the left will always point over at your 401k and look what's going on in the stock market. And here's the damage that Donald Trump is doing. What I'm telling you is that if you bought Tesla at $223, which, by the way, that was the price on March 18th, $223 a share.
6 days ago.
$248 a share. If you were to buy, let's say, 200 shares, you made almost $6,000 in a 72-hour period. All right, we're now getting like cocaine prices. All right, like this is the return on your investment.
I'm not sure I would know how much it costs, but I hear it's expensive.
I mean, that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. I'm just glad to see it happen, because it just puts it back in their face how little control they have. How
they have little influence.
No influence, no control. There's nothing that they can do to sink Tesla. There's nothing they can do to sink Donald Trump. They're going to continue to try, and they're going to continue to fail. And America recognizes it and will continue to push back on that nonsense.
Now, I don't know what the models are of Teslas. Like, somebody who's really into Tesla knows a lot more than me.
I'm not an EV guy. I'm not opposed to it. I know it's a marketing scheme. I understand that green energy is a marketing scheme.
But when it comes to, I believe it's the Model 3, it is sold out, and I believe it's like 12 different states.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, I don't know which one's which. I'm just glad to see the right thing happen. Good things happen to good people. That's what I like seeing. And I feel like we're seeing a lot. Yeah, I see you there on your
there we go.
Yeah, sold out.
Texas, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Georgia, Utah, Virginia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Indianapolis, Iowa, Nebraska, and Hawaii. The Model Y inventory is completely sold out in every one of those states. Oh, by the way, I actually sold it short. South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Wisconsin, Maryland, and Delaware. That is from Sawyer Merritt, who reported that last night.
Good. Unbelievable. I'm glad.
This is how much more powerful we are than they are. They can sit back and be like, we're going to throw paint at these dealerships. We'll shoot at them. We'll firebomb them. That is a multitude of states across the country where they're sold out because of the amount of people that said, this is wrong, and I'm going to go and show you with my dollars.
And it's funny because Democrats didn't do that for Target. They didn't do that for Bud Light. They could have. They could have done the same thing, but they didn't.
Yeah, go buy it. Go buy a bunch of Bud Light.
They didn't.
They could have tried. And here's the deal. They don't have enough buying power. The Democrats, the globalists as a whole, are a paper tiger. They pretend to be bigger than what they are. And they use your tax dollars to make themselves look to be bigger than what they are. When they have 20,000 people show up in Colorado and say, look at this turnout that we have for AOC and for Bernie Sanders. Then you get the data and you realize how many of them are bought and paid for. They are playing a game where it's make a pretend. It's make a believe.
Make a believe.
It ain't big enough to be a factor.
404-741-1230. David, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
Well, Rush Limbaugh used to always say that there would come a time in American politics when the liberal would take the mask off. And man, was he right. These people have lost their mind.
Dude, no doubt about it. I mean, and it's on display.
Good call, David, yeah.
And it's on display every day. That's the thing. It's not even like you can miss it. You can't miss it. It's every day they're doing something crazy.
I think about what happens when I get frustrated with my kids. And I'm essentially the same person, but there is a point where I do threaten Christmas. I'm like, all right, if y'all keep this up, I'm canceling Christmas. Now, I'm kidding around, okay? The Democrats, now that they're frustrated, they are legitimately trying to cancel Christmas.
Right, and would.
Like, they're trying to pull out every stop because they don't have any power. Now, can they cancel Christmas? No.
But just like they can't cancel Tesla.
But this is what they're down to. The mask is off. And so now that the mask is off, the gloves are off, and it's a silly method by which they're trying to go about this stuff. It's like you can't influence society anymore. You lost the media. You lost the most important news site in the world in X. What do you have to try and spin your tails? Because it's not working. None of it is.
They have Politico. They have MSNBC. They have CNN.
None of it's working.
Nobody reads. Nobody watches. Nobody pays attention to. They're still, and I think you said this, and I thought it was really smart. They're still playing out of the old playbook when they say, hey, let's call MSNBC, let's leak this to the New York Times.
Let's put a crowd together.
What do you think?
Won't matter.
It's always worked for so long, it's worked. And now it doesn't. And they're reeling because they don't know what else to do because nothing they sell, anybody is buying.
We got a breakdown over the weekend of their roster of influencers who they're paying. And when you go through it, you're like, yeah, no wonder this person ends up putting posts on X that are completely ridiculous and goes against everything going on within this country because they've been paid to do it. They're playing from an old playbook.
Let's talk about the 4 distinct groups that make up the Democrat Party next. After headlines on the Morning Xtra, Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3.
The latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust. Your best new follow on social media is Xtra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Xtra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Xtra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Hey homeowners, it's Flounder, and I'm here to keep you warm. Well, I won't, but my friends at Dobbs Heating and Air will. As a new homeowner myself, I prefer working with local, family-owned companies who value what matters to me and treats my home like it's their own. The Dobbs family have a passion for what they do, and taking care of people is their primary goal. So if your home needs help staying warm right now, call Dobbs Heating and Air and experience the Dobbs difference. And check them out online at dobbshvac.com.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
Yellow Jacket fans, don't miss your chance to lock in your seat for the 2025 football season today. Next year's home slate is highlighted by the renewal of our rivalry with Clemson, as well as ACC matchup versus Pitt, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. Into the end zone! Touchdown! Haynes King! All hail the King! Support head coach Brent Key and the Jackets on game day by visiting RamblingWreck.com/tickets to get your season tickets today. Sting 'em.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Hey, this is Tom from The Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed. Honesty is the best policy and we guarantee it. Finally, a pre-owned car and truck buying process that you can trust.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. A man on Long Island is charged with murder after allegedly shooting and killing his dad in the kitchen of their home. 43-year-old Christopher Miller pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity in a courtroom last week for fatally shooting his dad, retired Suffolk County Police Detective John Miller. The younger Miller admitted to shooting his dad 4 times with a shotgun before driving the pointed end of the weapon into his head to finish him off. 2 days prior to the shooting, Christopher was hospitalized after getting into a fight after a car crash on St. Patrick's Day. Police say he was discharged, came home, and then Wednesday morning shot his dad after an argument, then tried to hide in a neighbor's shed, but the homeowner spotted him and called police. When cops brought him home, they found the father dead in a pool of blood. Miller faces 25 years to life if convicted. His lawyer says he's obviously going through something traumatic. He recently moved back into his childhood home after a divorce. There's more on the story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, March 24th. Governor Kemp confirmed over the weekend that authorities are working with ICE to deport a man accused of killing a Marietta woman earlier this month. David Hector Rivas is a Honduran national who has been in the country illegally since 2021. He is being held at the Cobb County Jail until his removal from the country. Authorities are reminding parents to stay alert after a failed kidnapping attempt at Walmart in Ackworth. Police say they arrested 56-year-old Mahendra Patel after he tried to abduct a 2-year-old child from their mother. In national news, a federal court is hearing arguments today about the deportation flights of illegal gang members. Ceasefire talks continue in Saudi Arabia between Russia and Ukraine. And Usha Vance, the second lady, and a party of U.S. officials are visiting Greenland. Today's weather: overnight storms are clearing out this morning around the Atlanta area. It'll be mostly cloudy today, starting out in the mid-50s. This afternoon, we'll reach into the high 60s. Tomorrow looks sunny with highs in the mid-70s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. I kind of flash back to high school once in a while, and I think about the groups.
You threw the varsity touchdown?
No.
You score the big play?
Mm-mm.
You ran over Lucas at practice?
No,
got the girl in the end?
Mm-mm. No.
Judd Nelson, you and him were stuck on a Saturday?
I never got off the bench.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Sorry.
Yeah. I wasn't like you, freaking out there, star athlete, going to college, playing ball. You know, this guy over here to my left is a freaking college athlete.
What was Al Bundy? Pope High School, 4 touchdowns in one game?
Pope High School.
Yeah, I didn't throw any touchdown. I didn't play football. Now I regret that now looking back. And then I played baseball, but never got off the bench. They wouldn't even let me go pick up foul balls. They're like, we got it. Just stay right there. Basketball, I think I made the team my freshman year, and then that was about it for me.
We had one teammate of mine, and he was dating this girl, and I still remember to this day. She's a really pretty girl, nice girl. Like, her and I got to know each other actually after high school was over with. We had mutual friends. And while they were dating, every single time I was like, make a big play in baseball, and then I'd be running over the dugout, and I'd glance over. I was like, dude, your girlfriend's like at everything. My girlfriend shows up at nothing. And just thinking to myself, like, I wonder if you hit the next ball out of the ballpark, maybe she could be the girlfriend. Was not the case, but still, it was a motivating factor when you're 18 years old.
Yes, it is.
Maybe she'll switch sides.
How do I get the attention of the cute girl in the stands?
That's right.
Always. That's the reason boys play.
That's a reason why you play and do your thing.
Absolutely right. It sure, is it about competition? Yes, but truly, any kid, especially boys, any boy that plays sports, most of the time it's like, let me see how many girls I could connect with.
Why do you think your son picked out a soccer player?
Yes.
Like, she gets it.
Dude, and she is just the sweetest, prettiest girl, but when she gets on the soccer field, she's badass. Let me tell you. This girl, they won 3 state championships out of 4 years in high school. I mean, that's the kind of ball player she is, so... But when you think about school, though, it's made up of groups. You have like the athletes, you have the theater kids, and it's not always, there is some bleed over, some crossover, but by and large, it is groups of people. It's just the way people work.
That's why I really enjoy. My wife was the one who moved every 2 years because they were largely. My father-in-law was not in the military, but he worked for the military, and so they lived the military life, and so she was All-State in softball and volleyball, yet she did theater the whole time.
Yeah, so I'm saying there is blend over.
It's blending. It's like I love when you can move between groups, but most of the time it is groups.
It is. It's just the way it is. It's just natural. People gravitate to people that they're like or have the same interests, whatever the reason. Democrats are no different because they have kind of 4 groups.
So this is not everyone, but I will say it's most of them. All right, so you can kind of figure out where you're at. Like Aunt Peg is going to fall into one of these 4 groups.
She's the commie group.
All right,
I love her. She's communist.
There's a nutty amount of people that fall into certain one of these groups. So what has now become clear is that the Democrats fall as a whole into one of 4 groups. There is and this is from Aesthetica that had this, and it was tied up with Tim Walz in his video of him now saying, like, I was just kidding around. I didn't mean to go after Tesla in the way I did. 1, boomers who watch cable news all day.
Boomers.
Now, why does that matter? Because in the election cycle that we saw in November in 2024, the only demographic that Kamala Harris was able to actually win was 65 plus.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Where the news watchers, the ones that sit there all day
and get their news from mainstream outlets that are biased, and we know that.
They went the direction of Kamala Harris. No other group, by and large, in terms of, wow, that was unexpected, went with her. We knew that, all right, hey, she's going to win the black demographic, but not by as much. Well, she'll win the Hispanic demographic, 50-50. Women, nope, didn't go for the way we thought. Boomers 65 plus did. That's the first one. The next one, minorities who get free stuff. All right, it's tried and true. Anybody who gets free stuff tends to go ahead and vote for the people that give them the free stuff.
Which is why they kick the door open for millions and millions and millions of people to come across the border. It was their next layer and their next voting block.
But the shock factor that they saw within the Hispanic community and the black community was, hey, when we get free stuff, there's stuff tied to it, and they have not been helping this at all for the better part of, 3 generations. I'm not going to vote this way any longer. So that was where it goes. If you're still a minority getting free stuff and you're parroting the Democrat and their whole talking points, just know you're behind. Number 3, college-educated women who went crazy on SSRIs and birth control.
Oh, my.
Now, I would have just said college-educated women.
Yeah.
Because the numbers show if you're college-educated and you're a woman, you've been indoctrinated, and there's really no way to help you.
We had that polling last week, at the end of last week, where it was college-educated women are so far left that they don't even resemble the average dude in America.
And the funny part is they're all looking for conservative men.
Right.
And then
why
they
am I
wonder,
so attracted to that man that holds
why do I have
the door?
a hard time
I'm
laying
supposed
in
to
this
hate
man?
him.
Like, he opens the door for me. And then I ask him what color's the door and what is his belief in it.
Yeah.
And I ask him what sexuality is the door.
And how many genders are there?
That is the moment where dude runs away from you. He goes, oh, you're crazy, lady. You're a total nutcase. All right, so those are the 3 so far. Boomers who watch cable news, minorities who get free stuff, college-educated women. And the 4th one.
Finally.
Mentally ill gender goblins who are on the verge of shooting up an elementary school.
Wow.
All right, that's pretty colorful.
Yeah, but true.
There is a factor that we run into, whether it's the trans community, whether it's the people that are currently medicated, emotional. These are the people that tend to have some sort of, and it could be something as simple as anxiety. They tend to vote left when they're not mentally right.
And it's funny because the boomers and the trans crowd have nothing in common.
None at all.
And boomers would tell you that they're traditional. You know what I mean? If you were to ask them and you talk about the things that matter to them.
How many sexes are there, boomers?
Yeah.
Be like 2.
Yeah, there would be no argument there. So the fact that they're grouped in to the same party that caters to crazy all the time, and the boomers are still getting their news on at night, and the news at night tells them, you know what? Donald Trump's going to cut Social Security. He's getting rid of it. Elon Musk is getting in there. He's stealing your Social Security number so he can siphon off your check.
He can't wait to get at your $280.
That's right. Yeah, but good Lord.
Even though he spent $44 billion on X.
Yeah, that's right.
But he needs your $280.
That's right. He's gonna coddle it together.
He's lining out contracts for his company, even though they were already all signed under Joe Biden.
But you keep believing it, Boomer. You keep believing it. Now, the Boomers that listen to this show are way ahead, and I know that. You know that. 404-741-1230 if you have a reaction to this. But
or even if you take offense to Boomer, because let's face it, it's now become a term.
It is. You're right.
Like it was insulting at first, where everyone who was like over the age of 30 was called Boomer.
Yeah. Okay, Boomer.
Now it's actually kind of set into, all right, legitimately, because it's now a factor when it comes to voting, where there is the baby boomer generation and how they vote and what they're motivated by.
Yeah,
and it gets more and more towards Social Security and the way that they're voting when it comes to the left.
I don't know why they fall into this category. Well, I mean, I do, because they listen to the news at night. Aunt Peg, my sweet Aunt Peg, is in that same category. I mean, she's going to vote. She would tell you she loves America and loves waving the red, white, and blue, and would fly the red, white, and blue, but be angry that airman that won the national championship saluted. She'd be pissed about that. So it's one of the others. You can't have it both ways, and yet they still try to keep it having it both ways.
We'll have a piece of audio later that really shows the generational aspect that is politics. But I guess my curiosity is the baby boomer generation, after World War II, largely grew up in comfort in the 1950s and safety, then spent the 1960s having to get under their desks, preparing for nuclear war. The sort of stuff that they ran into over the course of their lives, I don't understand how any of them could be trusting of big government.
Me either.
That's the fact that I will not understand how they gravitated as children, as teenagers of the 60s. How did they become exactly what they were rebelling against?
Rage against the machine and then become part of the machine, raging for the machine.
How did that happen?
I can't answer the question.
I need somebody to explain that one to me.
But you're never going to, they're not going to be able to explain.
Because I can explain to you I can explain to you, my nemesis arc. I was like, you got me to 2020. I went nuts as far as dealing with the craziness of all of society, and I decided it doesn't matter what the government tells me. I will never listen to the government without questioning the government, even when the government is on my side and talking about the things that I'm interested in.
I was raised to be skeptical of the government. Mama thought she was a Democrat until about 5-6 years ago. She thought she was a Democrat. She's the one that questioned everything. I remember it as a child. She questioned everything. Now, she noticed that the people that she supported for so many years weren't on her side, weren't on the side of America. Just 6 years ago, finally figured it out. And now she's back to questioning everything the way she always did.
Is that when you would take a walking stick and go get news of the war for Ma and Pa?
No.
To go
No.
So Mom would be like, oh, just wanted to know what was going on in the world.
No, we had TV and things. It was it was a big old heavy one.
I just like the idea that, you were barefoot and you went into town.
Overalls that were cut off.
Go find out what the news was.
Yeah.
To go report back.
Paul, you won't believe it.
There it is. Yeah. You won't believe what's going on, Mom, Paul.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was the job, was to go find out.
And Mom was like, that's right. And then Mom and Paul were like, wow, you're right. We shouldn't be trusting these clowns, these fools. I'm glad Daddy left.
I'm just glad that music just shows up every day.
I know.
You start talking about Dalton, Georgia, and growing up down home.
Yeah, I love the chorus in this one. Here it comes.
All right, here we go.
Oh, my Dixieland, my Georgia nights. Tug walking steady under starlit skies.
Gotta go get news.
Mama's waiting with a wild crew, a southern tale that's strange but true. Oh, Tug just living free.
Yes, I am.
In a world
Yes, I am.
so wide.
That's right. I am living free because I question the government, and so does Mama nowadays.
Thank you, Jure.
It didn't take her long to figure it out. I brought back the newspaper. She was like, "Oh, I'll be damned. I don't trust any of these fools." I'm like, "Mama, you can't cuss. It's Sunday."
I'll be damned.
Mom, you ain't supposed to say them swear words. She was like, "I only cuss on days like this when I learned that the government's after me and when I lose at Cherokee." Otherwise, she's in the church, you know. Mom's a good lady. When we continue on Extra 106.3, the Secretary of Education shares the truth on where those education funds are actually going. I mean, there's a reason that we went from like the finest education system in the world, then establish a Department of Education. Government bureaucracy continues to slide and make it useless and valueless, and your kids are not getting educated because of it. So anyway, we'll talk about Linda McMahon. She's got the breakdown for you. Next on the Morning Xtra, Tug and Los until 10.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 24th. The NCAA men's basketball tournament, the South Regional, will occur here in Atlanta this upcoming weekend. Ole Miss and Michigan State will match up on Friday, as will top-seeded Auburn and Michigan. Winner of the region moves on to the Final Four. For Major League Baseball, the Braves made a move over the weekend. Pitcher Ian Anderson has been traded to the Anaheim Angels in exchange for pitcher Joe Suarez. Anderson was 22-13 during his time as a Brave, but dealt with injuries over the past 2 seasons. On the field, the Braves, they will open up the season this week as they will finish up spring training over the next couple of days. The Braves will match up with the Cubs this afternoon. First pitch is set for 4:05. You can hear that game on our sister station's app, the all-new 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Hey, it's Tug. Have you noticed that you can write your name in the pollen on your car? That's what happened to me this weekend. From South Carolina, then driving back to Alpharetta. I parked in the driveway when I got home, and it wasn't long because we have these beautiful cherry trees in the front yard, and they're blooming. They're just absolutely stunning. That stuff's everywhere, and then pollen. I could physically write my name on the hood of my car. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, they know that it's the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort. Don't wait like most people do to have your HVAC serviced. Your home needs maintenance twice a year. Maintenance helps keep your system running at peak efficiency and extends the life of your equipment, but even more because it's allergy season. Central Heating and Air Conditioning can fix what ails your house and your family's health with home ventilation, air quality products. They've got packages designed around house health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and air cleaners. It's locally owned and operated. Chuck and his team have been that way since 1947. So give them a call. Get your house health in line because you don't want to be sneezing inside the house. You don't want that pollen inside your house. We're just on the very, very tip of it now. Here in the next, couple weeks to the next month, it is going to be green and yellow everywhere. Pollen and then coming out of your face. So make sure that your home is a safe haven. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
What's this coming out of my face?
That's snot, sir. That is snot. You don't want that to happen. Make sure your house is the safe haven.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, atlantasmiles.com, the dentist with the doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums, and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggy. She's a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy, atlantasmiles.com.
Hi, my name is Steve from Marietta, and we hired ATL Turfco to build our dream backyard golf setup. They installed a large 4-hole putting green, a sand bunker, a short game area, and did a full conversion to artificial grass around the pool with decorative retaining walls. ATL Turfco was really creative. They were efficient. The installation was a breeze. Price was completely reasonable, and I definitely appreciated their communication throughout the project. I would definitely recommend ATL Turfco to anybody thinking about doing a backyard makeover. You can check them out online right now at atlturfco.com.
True Prep on Cobb Parkway is your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies, including freeze-dried food, water filtration, first aid, and more. They also have a large selection of firearms, including a huge selection of AR-15s, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices around. They're locally owned and operated, and you can visit their store in Marietta on Cobb Parkway or online at trueprep.com. That's truprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow at True Prep.
Emergencies strike at any time without warning. When they do, food disappears fast. That's why prepared Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the leader in long-term emergency food storage to protect their families. For a limited time, order their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply and get 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's 12 extra days of food at no extra cost. That's nearly 2 weeks of extra food, free to keep your family secure. Plus, free shipping. Order by 3 p.m. for same-day shipping. All kits deliver 2,000 calories per day of easy-to-prepare meals with a shelf life up to 25 years. These kits that have been rated 4.8 out of 5 stars by tens of thousands of folks like you. When the next crisis hits, you'll be ready. Stock up now at MyPatriotSupply.com before this deal disappears. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com for your 4-week emergency food supply and 4 free extra food kits. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Wherever you are in Georgia, you can stream Extra 106.3 and crystal clear digital with the all-new Extra 106.3 app. Get Extra's live on-air stream in real time, or go back and listen to all your favorite shows, Neil Bortz, or original podcasts, no matter where you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
I can't imagine that there's a soul that goes, yeah, the Department of Education, yeah, that's been such a wonderful department, such a wonderful addition since 1979. So proud to have them. They've done such good work on behalf of the students and the children of the United States of America. No, it's been exactly opposite of that. Why? Because anything government puts its hands on, it's going to destroy. It's going to misuse. It's going to take advantage of. And that's exactly what happened with the Department of Education. We had a great educational system in the United States prior to. It's slipped and slid and been terrible for kids ever since. So Donald Trump said, we're going to get rid of it. I love that Donald Trump said we're going to get rid of it. And everything's going back to the states.
It's been very enlightening to see where your money, your taxpayer funds, ends up going. When you see the breakdown of what the Department of Education does with the money, they're largely a pass-through. It's not like they're strategically, like there's some sort of, like they're playing Risk and there's
method to the madness.
Yeah, there's some massive map where they're allocating where stuff goes. It's a pass-through where they get their taste and then the money moves on.
Yeah.
It's like, why not do it more efficiently?
And usually it goes to bureaucracy. Usually it goes to unions, and a small portion of it actually gets to the students in the schools. So Secretary Linda McMahon was talking about some of the things that keep popping up and I see on social media. Well, who's going to handle student loans now? Oh, well, that'll be handled by the Small Business Association. Imagine that. Disability programs, that'll be handled by Health and Human Services. Seems like a good spot.
Seems logical.
Yeah. So listen to her break it all down for you.
There's not going to be any defunding for those programs. When he talked about student loans, that would be going to the Small Business Administration. The programs for students with disabilities will more than likely rest in HHS, which, by the way, is where they began. We're looking at putting things in different departments where they can operate very efficiently as we look at how we can shut down the Department of Education.
Do they not operate efficiently now?
Not as well as they should be. It's unacceptable where education is in our country today. The Department of Education does not educate one child. It does not establish any curriculum in any states. It doesn't hire teachers. It doesn't establish programs. What it is more of a pass-through of funding which is appropriated by Congress, by the way. And so we want to make sure that that funding continues in departments where it needs to be, but at the same time, give states the opportunities to be innovative and creative with their teaching.
Pushing it back to where it began.
By the way, honestly, I didn't listen to the entirety of that audio before.
Yeah.
The fact that she called it a pass-through, I was
Exactly right, man. Nailed it.
Jeez.
And passing it right back to where it began before the DOE took it and wadded it up and threw it in the garbage. I love the fact they said, she said it's going to be more efficient because that's what Donald Trump and Elon Musk have been working so hard with Doge to make the government more efficient. That's what the American people want. That's why the polling on it's so high. But did you hear the interviewer at CNN? It doesn't operate efficiently now. No, dumbass, it doesn't. I mean, are you?
That's the whole point.
Why are you surprised by this?
You ever played the telephone game when you were a kid? Telephone game is where one person, you have a sentence, and you tell it to the next person, and then you tell it to the next person, and you tell it to the next person. And then you see what the sentence sounds like by the time it runs through like 8 or 9 people. And you see how different it actually is from the original. That is largely what happens with the Department of Education. The idea being, let's take this money and let's commit it to this particular area of education. By the time it actually gets to local, it is so bastardized, so much money is missing, so many issues are now attached to those dollars. You know, how many DEI programs do you have?
Hundreds.
And that's why it's so silly. That's why the idea of sending this money and giving it directly to the states and them assigning it accordingly is much more efficient. It's a better use of our money.
That host on State of the Union on CNN knows the DOE is not efficient. Like, that was one of those, I'm going to see if I can trip her up. I'm going to see if I can get her to say something. That way we can, use it later to benefit ourselves against the Trump administration. And Linda McMahon's like, no, it's not efficient. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. Name me something in the government that's efficient, because I'll wait. 404-741-1230 if you've got something, because I don't know that anybody's going to light up the phone line saying, yeah, man, they do a great job with XYZ, because everybody knows that's not the case.
I know people that work for the Postal Service, and that is a oxymoron.
Yeah. Efficiency
where
and Postal Service
doing
together.
Their work, and you know what? All they're trying to do is make sure you get your correspondence, and they do the job they're supposed to. But they will also tell you, man, things are messed up here.
My brother-in-law, after he got out of the Air Force, captain of the Air Force, retired, went to work for the post office for 2 years. Thought, hey, this makes sense. My time in military kind of crosses over and counts with the post office.
Still service.
Yeah. He was there, and by about, 12 months, maybe 15 months, he was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. This is the most poorly ran organization I've ever seen. People are incentivized to not work hard. It's like it's backwards. It makes no sense to me. Coming from the Air Force, while we would work really hard to make things make sense, the post office does the exact opposite. He was like, he even told me this the other day. He was like, if I'd have stayed, I could have had a second pension, but I couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to work in that nonsense. I felt dumber by having been there.
We're just in the era. The era right now is everyone is comfortable with stripping things down. Now, the government, the swamp, the people that are in charge, the bureaucracy is not interested in stripping things down. But a majority of Americans are. And so I like that the charge is being led here. And you're going to get a media that is kicking and screaming. You're going to get a swamp that is kicking and screaming. But the majority of Americans, by all polls, all the time, are all about make sure we get rid of any sort of fraud, any sort of waste.
Go back to the post office for just a second. Because there's good folks that work at the post office that are caught up. But they've worked many years. There's like, I just want to get through. I just want to save my pension. I just want to do what I need to do to get through. I would like to do better. I'd like to do more. I would like for it to work better. But it's almost encouraged for it not to at the post office. He told me, he was like, Daniel's just like, there's so many great folks that are discouraged and disheartened by what happens there. So I just don't want post office folks to think I'm just coming down on them. The bureaucracy, it's built in.
No, it's built in to have
keep you handcuffed.
Yeah, that if you want to ascend within that position, there is no reason to, and it oftentimes discouraged to.
Yeah. It's not a good situation. But
you're basically told, do the job as it's been told for you to do, and just keep doing it every single day.
I know you can see a better way to doing it, but we don't want to do it that way.
You and I grew up in a time, we were both in our late teens when there was a term when postal workers would snap.
Yeah, going postal.
Going postal. Because they just had it.
Yes.
And that was a trend that was going on in the late 90s where postal workers basically said, this is so mundane and so ridiculous that they would lose their minds over it.
And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be involved with that. And I understand why my brother-in-law didn't. And I admire him for saying, no, I'm not going to stick around just for a paycheck. I'm not going to do it. I'll figure something else out. And he's done well. He's gotten himself in a good position in the private industry and in the private world, and continues to excel because he's incentivized to. Anytime he does something or innovates or creates a good work scenario, he's rewarded for that. It's the exact opposite with anything that the government's involved in. So you know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. So if you expect that the Department of Education is going to work any way different, you know better, and that's why it's good to see it go back to the states. Will there be issues with the states? Sure, because there's people that love money and power at the state level too, but at least it's closer, in my opinion, at least it's closer to our kids, and it will be run more efficiently through each state than it would be at a national level.
It's a telephone game.
Yeah.
There's less telephones.
That's right.
That's it. The opportunity for the money to get to the right places and do the right things, if the money's going directly to the state, has a better chance than if it's coming from the federal government from on high.
Winning part 1, that was last hour. Winning part 2 is next hour.
You're just winning all the time,
dude,
everybody.
That's all we're doing. It's all we're doing is winning. All I do is win. I'm going to get tired of winning, Donald Trump says. I don't believe it. Look, I want him to test me on this. Will I get tired of winning? This time, it's just beating up on the left how much we're winning. After a Neil Bortz report, the Fox News update, more of the Morning Xtra Tug and Los until 10.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
You wonder about the rabid response to attempts by the Trump administration to cut back the size of government. I take you back to 2012. The Democrat National Convention, where they opened the convention with somebody saying the government is the only thing we all belong to. Yes, my friends, you belong to the government. All blessings in your life come from the government, and it demands your unquestioning obedience. Maybe these people are so outraged because it's their owner, their overlord, that is being destroyed by the nasty orange man. Now, for some reason, and this is hard to explain, this whole episode reminds me of former Atlanta mayor and former felon and former convict Bill Campbell. I supported him strongly when he ran for mayor the first time. But then something happened during that administration that just turned me solidly 180% against him. He held a press conference. The subject was government, more particularly government unions. And Bill Campbell was upset at the idea that Republicans might be thinking about downsizing the Atlanta city government. So at the press conference, he announced that he had reached a contract with the labor unions representing Atlanta city workers. And that contract stated that as long as Bill Campbell was mayor, there would be no reform in Atlanta government that would cost even one union job. Not only do we all belong to the government by default, we all belong to government unions. Is that the process that's going on in the minds of these people, blindly criticizing any attempt to cut back the size and power of the federal government? Think about it. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Atlanta's new home for Fox News, Extra 106.3 FM. Tired of financial uncertainty? Tune into Smart Income Radio and take control of your financial future. Whether you're gearing up for retirement, already retired, or looking to make smarter money moves, Smart Income Radio delivers the strategies you need to secure your wealth and future. Get expert insights, proven strategies, and practical advice to build, protect, and grow your wealth so you can enjoy the life you deserve. Smart Income Radio, Saturdays at 8 a.m. Plan smart, protect more, retire with confidence.
Its intelligent technology is intuitive. Its responsive performance, responsible. Turbo power with a hybrid assist, a digital yet sensual cockpit, and sporty elegance helps make the C-Class a driver's delight and paradise for passengers. Get an exceptional offer on the 2025 Mercedes-Benz C300 sedan for just $469 per month. For 39 months with $46.63 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the RBM of Atlanta's spring sales event. Visit today to see how to qualify. We'd love to welcome you to the RBM of Atlanta family. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through March 31st, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia lemon law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
More Venezuelans in the U.S. illegally kicked out. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 199 of them, some accused gang members, landed back in their home country, Venezuela, early this morning. As a court fight continues today over flights of Venezuelan gang members deported to El Salvador over a week ago. Fox's Peter Ducey's at the White House.
And I talked to President Trump about this on Friday. He did not have any regrets about the way these deportation flights have gone so far. And today's hearing is not going to be before the same judge that thinks the administration may have defied his order to turn plane loads of accused gang members around. And it's not because Judge Boasberg has been removed from the case, but the next step in this process is for arguments to be before a 3-judge panel in Washington, D.C.
There's a new round of negotiations going on now in Saudi Arabia between the U.S. and Russia, hours after talks between the U.S. and Ukraine.
The Trump administration wants an immediate partial ceasefire and later a comprehensive peace deal. President Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff says he believes we'll see real progress today, but Russian officials are more cautious. Last night, at least 7 people were killed after Russia launched another barrage of drones at Ukraine.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Israel keeps up the attacks in Gaza, where Palestinian officials say more than 60 people were killed in bombings. A Hamas operative is among them, hiding out, Israelis say, with civilians in a hospital.
Reports on the ground inside Gaza indicate that Ismail Barhoum, a top Hamas political official, was the target in this strike.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The Senate's minority leader has a message for some of his fellow Democrats who want to replace him.
Look, I'm not stepping down.
Chuck Schumer defending his vote for a Republican spending bill to avert a government shutdown, telling NBC's Meet the Press the GOP funding plan was bad.
But a shutdown would be 15 or 20 times worse.
Former Congresswoman Mia Love has died. She was the first black Republican woman elected to Congress. She was only 49, had brain cancer. America's listening to Fox News.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or consumercellular.com today. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Align your business with other like-minded conservatives by advertising on Xtra 1063. Email sales at xtra1063.com.
When you watch, I don't know, the national championship, football, basketball, baseball, you watch the World Series, you watch maybe anything, it's always brought to you by or built by, like ESPN's College Game Day, right? Built by the Home Depot.
You're a champion.
Why is that?
I don't know. Just wanted to tell you you're a champion.
Well, I appreciate that. I've never felt like a champion before until right now.
You're a champion today.
Let's go.
You're the champion of Monday, March 24th.
Yes, I am. And I'm going to wear this, and I'm going to do good with my new platform of being a champion. I'm going to make a difference.
So strong.
Great. It's going to be so great. You don't even want to recognize how things used to be because they're going to be so good moving forward. We'll just continue to win, which we're going to get to in just a second. But I think Donald Trump is on to something. You know, when you get bobbleheads when you go into the stadium, you know, people line up for hours ahead of time to get a Ronald Acuna bobblehead.
Out the door, across the street, whenever they have a bobblehead night, people are here 2 hours early.
What is usually on the bottom of those little bobbleheads? There's like a little sign down at the bottom.
I don't know. I don't own any bobbleheads.
Oh, you don't? Okay, well.
I mean, I see them. But.
Yeah, but so I bet there's one in there in the control room. It usually says, brought to you by Xfinity. Or brought to you by whomever. You know, it's got like a little sponsorship. And it's just a way to generate dollars. People have their logo in front of thousands of eyes, and they covet these bobbleheads, which has a company's logo on there. The White House Easter egg roll has an opportunity for corporate branding for the first time. People are melting down over it. Companies can pay for things like naming rights to key areas at the event, custom branded Easter egg baskets, and the prices range from $75,000 to $200,000. Genius. Instead of the taxpayer paying for it, why don't you make some money on it? This is genius, and it's so basic. Why is it the first time? Why are we just now doing this?
Considering that when the gold card came out and was announced, it was talked about you were able to have a pass-through, largely a golden passport, a golden visa to be able to conduct your business in the United States. And what was it, $1 million? Mm-hmm. And they've sold 1,000 of them already?
Yeah.
Okay, they know what they're doing here.
That's exactly right. And they're doing the same thing with the Easter egg roll at the White House. CNN says, well, opinions are split on whether this is a good thing.
Which means it's good.
That's exactly right. Give me somebody that's going, no, I don't want the White House Easter basket saying brought to you by Peeps. Peeps candies or Hershey's or whomever. It's so easy. It's so obvious. And Donald Trump has actually done it. So what do they have to do? What do they have to do? They have to reject it because they're on the wrong side of every decision. It's always, how do I stand up to Donald Trump? This is the only way I know how.
Do you remember what it was like several years ago when
things were better?
Well, of course, yes. But when you had the idea of putting logo advertisement on NBA jerseys and then Major League Baseball, and it was like, you can't do that. That's sacrilege. All right, what do we have? Like Quick Creed or whatever it is on the Braves jersey? Yeah. All right, everybody has something now on their jersey, like in a very similar way that the European model is. Now, the Europeans, that looks like Chico's bail bonds, okay? Like their soccer leagues have stuff all over the jerseys for the most part. Exactly. They're running NASCARs. In this case, we allow one on the jersey. So you're telling me that we don't allow one on an Easter basket? Come on, this is what we're doing. This is commerce, baby.
Absolutely.
Well, they couldn't have sold a sponsorship for the last 4 years, but now that we're winning.
You never know who was going to show up the last 4 years. Yeah, people. You have dudes, topless dudes.
Topless dudes showing off the tots.
Yes, in the middle of the White House lawn. You just never know. So, yeah, probably nobody wanted to be a part of that. But now that,
I got a man dressed as a woman stealing luggage.
Yeah, exactly.
I got cocaine in the White House. Do you realize how many things that are like looking back on it go, wow, the kids were really in charge. We allowed after the election was stolen in 2020 for the inmates to run the asylum.
Yes, that's right.
And by the way, it was stolen in 2020. Go through the numbers.
Yeah,
dig into it. You'll love it.
No, everybody knows. No, nobody even deny. I don't even think it's not even called a conspiracy theory.
Here you go. 2020, the election was stolen. COVID came out of a lab.
Yep.
Michelle Obama has a dong. There you go. Here's your 3 to use for the day. Go to the water cooler and say, I heard this guy on the radio say these 3 universal truths. Now, I'll tell you, 2 of the 3 are true. You pick out the 3 you want.
2 truths and a lie.
There you go.
I gotta tell you, man, that might be hard to figure out. No, which one is.
Poor Kimmer's driving around going like, I want all 3 to be true.
Why can't they all 3 be true?
What about 2 of the 3?
Yeah, well, it's possible. There's no. I mean, nothing's impossible. Little Caesars back in the day taught their dogs to say "I love you." If you remember that ad campaign,
that was kind of funny.
Nothing's impossible.
Nothing's impossible.
So good. I remember that when I was 10 or 12 playing baseball. We'd laugh at it for hours and hours at a time. So I think what he's doing is smart. I mean, they've been doing this since 1878, and it took till 2025 for somebody. Hey, let's slap a sponsorship on there and make a bunch of cash off of this to pay for the government instead of like our taxpayers getting overcharged. What do you think?
It's like when you say a grip of money.
Yeah, a grip.
There we go.
We're about to get a grip.
Let's go.
A grip of money. You're going to have so much money, you're going to be able to hold it all.
I'm just going to wait for the next time that Donald Trump starts doing paid advertisements or, going to have a rally brought to you by...
Why would you not?
Carl's Jr.
Why would you not? It's
Sorry, Carl's Jr.
Or whomever.
You're going to be the one.
Whatever.
Hardee's.
Yes, the
Hot
other.
girls with burgers.
What is it?
Hot girls with burgers.
There's Hardee's.
That's
Hot
exactly
girls
right.
with burgers. Are they still doing that, by the way?
You know
like
what?
That ad campaign did get people to check it out.
Was it Paris Hilton that was in them?
Yeah.
There for a while? Yeah.
I said hot girls.
Right.
Listen, she had her time.
Yeah,
she did her thing.
Yeah.
She's actually much prettier now.
Than
she's back then.
Kind of, yeah. I stopped at a Hardee's for the first time because there's not one near me on the way home. I just wanted breakfast. Got about halfway home, and there was a Hardee's. They said to serve breakfast till noon. I was like, yes, I will. So, yes, brought to you by Carl's Jr. or Hardee's or whatever, because I think they're the same company. We'll continue to win. Donald Trump's going to test you, though. He's going to test your winning capacity. How much winning can you possibly do? We talked about the win with Elon Musk and Tesla, even though the lefty loonies are going crazy trying to destroy Teslas, shooting through Tesla dealerships, setting charging stations on fire, carving their initials and all these horrendous things in the sides and in the paint of Teslas. But we're winning still. Stock prices shot up, as you talked earlier.
So winning part 2, as I was saying on last week on Monday, Tuesday, when Tim Walz was celebrating the 225 and falling, and now it's at 248. So stock price is right back up to where it needs to be, and it's jumping because the amount of people on our side that never considered buying an EV, yet they're trying to show their support for Elon. Now, you and I, we showed our support differently.
Yeah.
We contributed over to X and said, okay, I will take my blue check mark. I will pay you the money for the year. I get to write longer posts. I get to do a handful of other things. That's how I'll do it. I do ponder about the EV moving forward when it comes to Elon. But okay, I digress.
Yeah, sure.
But here is winning part 2. So you'll find on MSNBC and CNN, look at this crowd in Colorado. There are 30,000 people that showed up to support AOC and Bernie Sanders. All right, the numbers. It's closer to about 12,000. Now, I would still say, all right, good number.
That's a good number, yeah.
12,000 people who showed up to support what is, right now, that's the Democrats' dream ticket that they're trying to come up with.
Socialist communists just roll out the red carpet. Where's the sickle?
All right, so here is the cell phone data. 84% of the people that were in attendance for the AOC Bernie Sanders rally, remember the transformative rally, it's how big? 84% of people had gone to 9 or more rallies for Kamala Harris, Antifa, BLM, pro-Hamas, or pro-Palestinian.
So those are paid. Those folks are paid to be there. That's what it sounds like.
31% of them had attended over 20 rallies. These are professionals.
How many rallies have you ever been to?
None.
I went to the first one that I've ever been to, and it was as a person covering the event when at the Trump rally at Arena at Gwinnett Center. First rally I've ever been to, probably the last one I ever go to.
Now, how about this number? This over from AKA Faces. Breaking news leaks indicates that the Democrats are offering $100 per person to attend the Oligarchy Tour, hosted by Bernie Sanders and AOC. It actually has the write-up for the reimbursement program. This form is for requesting reimbursement for standard event hosting costs such as venue fees, AV equipment, food, and non-alcoholic drinks. It goes through how many people will get compensated for showing up to this, that if you go, you can then put in to be paid for having shown up.
Travel costs, gas, and mileage. You know, if you want to create signs, they'll reimburse you for your stickers and your markers and your cardboard.
I mean, these are people that when they were doing $40 an hour, then you were having people show up. Now they won't show up at $40 an hour.
No,
now it has to turn into $100 an event. And here's the thing. Here's the silver lining, the winning part 2. That winning part 1 opened up 7 o'clock. Winning part 2 is this, Tug. You can't pay them to vote. And it's an old adage. When you, like for instance, we've seen this with, if you remember the story of SMU football. Mm-hmm. SMU football got the death penalty in college football back in the 80s because they had a payroll. They were paying guys to play football. And that was not allowed in college 40 years ago at that time. But there was an underlying issue that was going on. You didn't own them. They owned you. The players had all the goods on you. Once you were paying them, you thought, hey, they play for me. They're on my payroll. Mm-hmm. I own them. No, they owned you. That is what is going on now. These people will not show up to vote unless you pay them.
That's right.
So they'll show up to events. They'll show up to, cheer for Kamala Harris or whoever else you want. They'll turn out 10,000 strong and they'll make it look big and crazy. And all right, we got all this momentum. But you can't pay them to vote. And that's why they don't turn out for that. And that's how you lose 7 swing states in the popular vote.
But 30,000 plus, that's what MSNBC's telling Aunt Peg this morning. 30,000 plus is what showed up for a socialist and a communist.
11,000. And again, by the numbers, you had 83% who had been to 9 rallies or more. Antifa, BLM, or Kamala Harris and assorted rallies.
I don't believe there's that many people in America that want socialism and communism. That's why they have to pay them to show up.
Yeah, they have to compensate them.
Nobody wants that. I mean, you had Bernie Sanders. We have a cut from him. We don't have to play it now, but it was him saying how nobody likes illegal immigration. Nobody wants illegal immigration. And yet, that's what they're going to be talking about. How could they throw these people out? How could they shut down government agencies? How could they cut back on this government? We need as much government as we can, because that's going to be their message. That's always their message. Big government is in big results. And no, it's not. And I don't believe that many people want that.
But this is what winning in the era of Trump feels like. That they're having to spend the amount of money they're spending. Typically, it's your tax dollars, but whatever. If we can find a way to cut that off, and so they have to use their own money. And by the way, did you see how Act Blue was looking for $1 donors? And why were they doing $1 donors? So that they can have your name and information, so they can
launder more
money through your information. Like, I donated $1. Why did I suddenly donate $15,000?
Yeah.
Huh?
They won't
I
let
wonder
you know.
why. This is what their game is. They are a paper tiger. They are having to pretend like they're bigger than they are. They are the puffer fish. 10,000 people. Tell me what happens when you don't pay for any of them. Tell me when you start turning out people that, again, as I said, 84% of the people had gone to 9 or more rallies. Tell me what happens when you're able to get the grassroots person. Tell me what happens when you get me. All right, when you get me who doesn't go to anything like that. If you can get me out there, then we've got something going.
What happens when they don't pay them are like those rallies we've seen in D.C. in support.
Here's 12 people.
12 people. One person's out there banging on a tom-tom drum, and everybody else is chanting this stupid chant that nobody does because it sounds so ridiculous. That's what you get when you don't pay them. Nobody wants to be a part of that. Everybody has recognized that America is trending in the right direction, and they're happy about it. It shows in the polling. And this is polling from CBS and Washington Post, not conservative outlets. So the numbers are probably even better. But they conduct this polling, and it shows that so many people are in favor of DOGE stopping the waste, fraud, and abuse of their money. So many people are in favor, including Democrats, are in favor of deportations of people who break the law in the United States. Not just breaking the law to get here, but break the law while they're here. Break the law while breaking the law. That's what you always says, Luke.
Yes.
That's what you
When
always
you're
say.
breaking the law, don't break the law.
And so many people. The Washington Post, I think I had it over the weekend. I think the number's like in the high 80s of people, Republicans specifically, that support deporting people who break the law while breaking the law. And then the revealing number was that it's like 61% of Democrats support it too. That's why I know those people are not showing up just by chance in Denver. They're getting paid. That's the lefty loony fringe of the Democrat Party.
Let me tell you what Jerry does. When Jeray is muling for one of the cartels, he drives the speed limit. You know why?
Because you don't want to break the law while you're breaking the law?
That's right. When he's breaking the law, he's going to make sure not to break the law.
It's only one rule. Don't get caught.
There you go. So imagine how these people and the Democrats are actually having to side with people that have already broken the law and then continue to break the law.
Well, but they have to, because that's their only form of resistance. That's how they look like they're fighting back. They have to say, yes, we're on the side of murderous gang members and we want them flown back to the United States. Give me one American. Give
Drop
me
them
one
back in your community. By the way,
give me one that would say, yes, I want
So
that.
it's not illegal to import as many people from around the world unvetted, but it is illegal to
get
send
rid of
them out.
That's right. It's insanity. Nobody's in favor of that. Only one judge who has ulterior motives, who has conflicts of interest, says, yes, turn the flight of murderous gang members back around and bring them back to the United States where they belong. Only one crazy judge says that. And that's the only way they have any wins. That's the only way that they even have a speed bump against Donald Trump. The only way. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3.
Just keep winning. Enjoy it.
That's right.
It's all winning every day. What's a win going to be today? We'll see.
I don't know, but there will be
There'll
one.
be another win.
And we'll bring it to you tomorrow here on Extra 106.3. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com is their website. When we come back, John Ossoff. Your own kids are going to suffer under the policies and decisions you've made. Next on Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
I hope people realize what a breath of freshness and sunshine into a formerly dark place Donald Trump has brought to America. He's done more things and talked to more people and answered more questions than that slimebag crime family pervert did in the last 4 years.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
With it raining outside, are you noticing, hey, I got a little leak in the roof? Maybe it's happened a few times now, because remember we had those bad storms recently, and you noticed it. Did you notice it then? Did you act on it? Did you get it fixed? Do not wait. The worst decision you can possibly make if you've got a leak in the roof is to wait, because the longer you wait, the bigger the problem, the bigger the damage, the more the damage, and the more it'll cost. When rain wreaks a havoc on your roof, turn to the folks that can make it right. That's Southern Exteriors. Over 25 years experience, they know rain damage and storm damage cannot wait. That's why they offer emergency response and free estimates to assess the damage and get your home back to good. Southern Exteriors, they're not going to be knocking on doors in the neighborhood, storm chasing, rain chasing, looking for a profit. Guess what? I was gone to South Carolina over the weekend. My wife was home. Guess what she got at the door? Hey, can we get up on your roof and check for storm damage? We'll get the insurance company to pay for it. They give you the whole pitch. And she hit him with, well, my husband's not here right now. Come back then. She's putting it off on me, which I'm fine with. But the point is, nobody's knocking at Southern Exteriors because they don't have to. They've been doing this thing for years, since 1999, over 200,000 jobs. If you've been impacted by rain, weather, storm, call Southern Exteriors at 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co, 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co.
Hey, homeowners, it's Flounder, and I'm here to keep you warm. Well, I won't, but my friends at Dobbs Heating and Air will. As a new homeowner myself, I prefer working with local, family-owned companies who value what matters to me and treats my home like it's their own. The Dobbs family have a passion for what they do, and taking care of people is their primary goal. So if your home needs help staying warm right now, call Dobbs Heating and Air and experience the Dobbs difference. And check them out online at dobbshvac.com.
When you buy a Subaru from Subaru of Gwinnett, you're buying more than a vehicle. You're buying safety for your family, an investment that will hold its value, and something that will last a long time. You're buying trust. For a limited time, celebrate all the 2025 models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event, now through March 31st. Whether you're looking to match your adventurous spirit with the 2025 Subaru Outback or lean on the reliability of the 2025 Subaru Forester, Subaru of Gwinnett has the perfect fit for your family. You'll love exploring in the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek, and the 2025 Subaru Legacy is what happens when we put the best of Subaru into a sedan. Plus, every Subaru model comes equipped with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Subaru of Gwinnett has been your hometown dealership for years, and we're proud to be here to help your family find a Subaru to love for years to come. And our award-winning service department is here to ensure you've always got someone to lean on and trust when you need us. Stop in for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth and meet our incredible staff, or start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. Now that President Trump has unburdened us from what could have been, our country's finally headed in the right directions. But the Democrats are screaming and yelling and losing their minds. And unfortunately, the bad guys are still here and they want your stuff. Thank you, Joe Biden. And customers are still reporting break-ins and thefts of their hard-earned valuables. Don't wait till it's too late. Get a quality safe from the Safe House. We carry the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. And remember, gun safes are sales tax-free at Atlanta Safe House. So give us a call or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
My name is Patrick, and I'm the Military Outreach Manager at the Warrior Alliance. I served in the U.S. Army as an airborne ranger and deployed to several combat zones in support of the global war on terror. Veterans bring excellence through our work ethic, skills, and civic duty. However, transitioning to civilian life can be difficult, as we all share a loss of purpose when leaving the military. Returning veterans have earned and deserve our support so they can thrive on their journey home. The Warrior Alliance understands the challenge and is helping warriors navigate to success after service. Join us in changing thousands of lives for the better. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
So, the doc says I have ED. ED. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just an abbreviation for a condition so many men have. If I was to be honest, I probably also have a little OCD. I know I have a great HMO. Heck, I even have 3 weeks of PTO. Look, don't let a few letters get you down. If you have ED, there's HELP. Go see Dr. Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He's an ED specialist that will turn your life around PDQ. ED happens to a lot of men as we age. And just FYI, Dr. Deal can give you back the confidence you need to perform on the JOB. So, ready to take the first step? Quit yelling WTF at your little BFF and visit tbtofga.com. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can fix your ED ASAP. And before you know it, you'll be screaming OMG.
I'm getting in the game. The world won't be the same. I'm good. I'm good to go.
Call 404-777-1911 or visit tbtofga.com. You need a pre-owned car or truck, but you don't need the headache of searching for one. Spending hours calling dealerships, then spending half the day filling out paperwork. Come on. You need the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, this is Tom from the Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed.
Get an Honest Car Buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, March 24th. Governor Kemp confirmed over the weekend that authorities are working with ICE to deport a man accused of killing a Marietta woman earlier this month. David Hector Rivas is a Honduran national who has been in the country illegally since 2021. He is being held at the Cobb County Jail until his removal from the country. Authorities are reminding parents to stay alert after a failed kidnapping attempt at Walmart in Ackworth. Police say they arrested 56-year-old Mahendra Patel after he tried to abduct a 2-year-old child from their mother. In national news, a federal court is hearing arguments today about the deportation flights of illegal gang members. Ceasefire talks continue in Saudi Arabia between Russia and Ukraine, and Usha Vance, the second lady, and a party of U.S. officials are visiting Greenland. Today's weather: overnight storms are clearing out this morning around the Atlanta area. It'll be mostly cloudy today, starting out in the mid-50s. This afternoon, we'll reach into the high 60s. Tomorrow looks sunny with highs in the mid-70s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
He's so good at that, by the way.
What do you mean?
Jure, when he's doing all the headlines.
Dude, sounds so proper. Sounds so, I don't know, like
the guy
like
who was
news
doing,
anchor like.
The guy who was doing them beforehand was not there.
He was handsome, though.
Because, like, I did my very best. But let's face it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I was going to AI and I was like, Dear AI.
Yeah, can you help me describe
Can you give me
this?
like 3 headlines going on in Atlanta? And they were all like 72 hours old.
Yeah, right. And probably all blood and guts.
I tried to dodge those.
Yeah, you try to avoid that. That's exactly right. Because,
like, unless it's shutting down a highway.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And Dre, it seems more fitting that Dre does headlines and you do sports because you do sports for a living still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It actually makes
I've
sense.
been reduced. Management was like, listen, we can't trust you with headlines.
That's right.
You're going to have to do the sports stuff.
Yeah.
That you can handle.
You never wear dress breeches. We can't support you doing
That's right. They're like,
headlines.
listen, Jure wears pants. Automatically makes him more authoritative than you.
Keep my shoes on all morning.
That's right.
Lowe's might
never seen Jerry without his shoes on.
Running
you walk
around.
around every Monday without any shoes.
Running around, and Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. It's happened on Thursday and Friday.
And I realize it doesn't help me that, so for Christmas, my mom decided to get me, based on my daughters, because she asked my daughters, and they said, get him Rick and Morty socks.
Oh, wow.
So, Cartoon Central, Cartoon Network, I have
Rick and
Morty socks going on. And so when you walk around in these bad boys.
Look at there. Dude, which episode is that?
Well, that's his friend. That's,
got it.
The guy who's like part human, part hawk. So that's what I have on my socks right now.
You got some with the portal gun on there?
I do. I actually have one of them with the portal gun.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because
So when you wear those, then you know you cannot be taken seriously around the office.
my son Jacob, who I had no idea knew what Rick and Morty was, would be interested at all in Rick and Morty, loves it. He absolutely loves it. I had brought it up. I am in passing, I think. Just the fact that you were such a fan and Dre liked it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Pickle Rick, I love that guy." He wore
the costume up to work.
Yeah, that's right. That may have been what brought it up. Now that I think about it, but he knew all the stuff. He knew so many characters, one lines, all of it.
You want to score some dad points?
Yes.
When you call him today, ask him if he's pulling a Die Hard.
Okay.
Say, are you pulling a Die Hard?
Okay.
And just see what happens.
Okay. Well, tell me what it is. That way I know, and you listening might not know either.
So many Rick and Morty episodes are based on popular culture, and there's one episode that is loosely based on Die Hard.
That's great.
But in the main person in the main villain is asking, are you pulling a Die Hard?
That's
like,
great.
are you sneaking around killing all of my men?
Yeah.
Pulling a Die Hard.
All right, got it. All right, I definitely will. That's so fantastic. Let's talk about Jon Ossoff. He's a guy that's going to lose in the midterms. I feel certain about it.
14 points underwater from what the polling and reports are from where he was 2 years ago.
Gosh. And he had the gall on stage to claim that he wants a fair and decent country for his little daughter to grow up in. And this is as he voted against protecting women and girls' sports. Dude is a freaking D-bag.
My little girl and all our children who deserve to grow up in a kind and fair and decent country.
Let's see if when a man comes into the changing room where his wife or daughter is, that he feels the same way. Now, he probably wouldn't allow that to happen because he's going to have a detail around those kids and his wife. But everyday Americans don't have that. I mean, you have the story, is it out of Wisconsin, where they forced the 13-year-old girl
to have to
change with the boy in the room. The administration, the faculty of the school forced it. This is unbelievable. I would be losing my mind just like that mama did. And I want to see Jon Ossoff face what he has chosen for American girls to have to face. I want him to have to face those same situations, those same complicated standards.
Call me old-fashioned, but it's because I have 2 daughters, with the oldest being 14, that the standards by which I like to be around my house or I like to be around a hotel room or whatever changes. And the reason why is that when my daughter has friends over, all right, dad is in like all sweats. All right. Normally, dad's like in like maybe a cutoff T-shirt with some shorts on.
Might not have no sleeves.
It's going to say sleeves are going to be optional.
Yeah.
You know, you might. I might sit down and you go like those shorts are too short. Okay, it's going to be different because she has guests around. So again, call me old-fashioned. But so when John Ossoff tries to tell you that he believes his daughter should be in a
decent, fair country,
and decent. All right, first off, fair is a total...
It's a construct.
It's a construct.
It's not real.
It's total crap.
Nothing's fair.
But when you talk about decent, it's your own form of decency. And at no point in my form of decency do I have men around younger women who are exposing themselves, and I don't have them competing against them either.
Right. But even more than that, even if it's not a man, even if it's a boy.
Sure. Either way.
That is not decent.
Does not happen.
That's not right. And you know it's not right. I know it's not right. Los, Trey, we all know it's not right. Yet John Ossoff votes to make it so, to make it happen, to allow it to happen, all while talking about decency.
He voted to not allow the vote to get to the floor. The man voted to make sure to silence the majority.
It's unbelievable that he would have the gall to say, yeah, I'm in favor of decency. No, you're not.
Well, he messed up, and he knows he messed up because you wouldn't bring that up, and it would not be your leadoff on a regular basis now. He knows that he basically cost himself the future election. The most, when it comes to when you get the analysis of the seats that are most up for grabs that are by far the most likely to swing over to the Republican side, you have New Hampshire and you have Georgia, but more so even Georgia. Everyone expects if Brian Kemp runs, he's going to win that seat. It's almost a fait accompli at this point that the Democrats know if we don't play any games in Georgia like we did in the past, we're losing Georgia.
But he just now knows? Like it took voting against girls and men and women's sports. It took him to make that decision to know that he was not voting for a decency in the United States. You're a fool, John Ossoff, if it took that for you to know.
But that's what I'm curious about. Because oftentimes what you'll have in D.C. is you will have leadership that will flat out tell you, you have to vote this way. But there's always well, if you're vulnerable, then you don't.
Right.
And that's how it ends up going. You will have leadership. If they recognize that somebody's in a tough race and they know if they toe the party line, it might cost them the election, they will say, hey, in this one, sit this one out. You don't have to vote with the rest of us. For some reason, this never came up, either by idiocy of not realizing how damaging this was going to be, or with the realization that they know he's losing the seat anyway. So vote in lockstep.
If he had any morals, if he knew what decency was or cared about decency, it wouldn't have mattered what Democrat leadership. Democrats are in disarray. Who's he got to answer to? Don't tell me you have to do something. John Ossoff, you didn't have to do anything. You were elected by the people to do their work.
But
I know what you're saying.
I know, but let's remember, Chuck Schumer is in a really bad spot. Remember, we had not gotten to that point yet. Chuck Schumer was still he's the lion of the Democrats in the Senate. He's here to fight for you until that CR, his name went to mud. And so I can see where he's putting the pressure on everyone of here's the way you're going to vote. It's very short-sighted. You, and this is a fault of yours, Tug. You happen to have a strong moral compass that dictates how you look at things, and you apply that to Democrats. They don't have moral compass.
I know they don't.
It's just power. It's just power all the time.
It has nothing to do with decency. It has nothing to do with protecting your daughters.
That's for the audience.
Yes, that's right. It's to ham it up. I care about actually doing what's going to preserve my power and preserve the dollar bills that are coming in. I know that, but I wanted to put him on the spot to show him how stupid he looked for falling for that ignorant trap and not protecting young women and young girls in locker rooms. You are wrong, and you deserve to lose.
See, this is the deal. You lead with your chin on this stuff. Like, you are a very moral person. Everything that when it comes down to when Tug decides any of his decisions during the day, it goes through, is this the right decision to make?
Oh, yeah.
And that's part of just being a good person.
I hope everybody does. I know they don't.
When I go about my business, I'm like, is this going to make somebody feel good? Is this going to make somebody smile? Like, these are the sort of things that I go through in my mind of how I'm going to conduct myself during the day. When you're a politician, man, you're not even wired that way.
That's the last thing you're concerned about.
It's like, it's almost you're two different people at times.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
It's like, this is for the public, and this is for when we're behind closed doors and taking a vote.
Buddy Carter told us that.
Yeah. He said when you get a chance to talk with people, and who was it? It might have been Chuck Schumer who also brought up,
yes,
when you have a conversation in the gym, in the locker room, is when you really get down to things. Buddy Carter, who will be joining us this Friday, he'll be joining us from 7 to 8 o'clock, doing the full hour. He brought it up with us. He was like, when you start working out, it's like people actually tell you, like, hey, man, y'all are kicking our butts right now.
Here's the truth. This is how we really feel. This is what we should have done.
This is what leadership is having me do.
This is what, exactly. They share the inside baseball secrets. And it's funny because when Buddy Carter, who represents Georgia's 1st District down in Savannah, when he told us that, we're like, wow, that's insightful. Chuck Schumer, when he said it, they excoriated him and they skewered him.
What do you mean you talk to the Republicans in the locker room?
Dude,
they're all just dudes, man, at that point. They're all just people working out, just being normal people.
I was so blown away because we had that experience with Buddy, knowing that it was true. So when he said it, I was like, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
And then, dude, he started catching strays. He looked like a punching bag.
Buddy said it, and we didn't think anything weird of it.
Because it makes sense.
Chuck Schumer said it, and it turned into, what do you mean you're talking to Republicans like they're human? They're Nazis.
Yeah, with the they look like the meme with the face, the tears coming down, the brutal face, whatever that meme is. I don't know what you call it, but you know which one I'm talking about. When they're all like,
they're all scrunched up face and all mad at the world.
They were pissed off at Chuck Schumer because he let a hint of truth out.
I have to wonder, knowing that this is a seat that is vulnerable, how Chuck Schumer did not allow Ossoff out of that vote to allow things to get to the floor. Because they had more than enough votes to make sure it didn't make it to the floor. If you know that your most vulnerable seat right now when you're in the Senate is John Ossoff's, why not at least play the game of, look, he's centering the message?
I can't wait to see him lose.
Yeah, he's going to lose.
He is, absolutely. It's going to be served up on a silver platter. And I don't know what day that'll come around, but that'll be another day of winning for you as we, try to point out and highlight all the wins that we have as conservatives right now. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Do you realize that politics and music have a whole lot in common? Maybe some things that you've not even thought of before. Next on Extra 106.3, Tug and Los until 10.
Good morning. Here are your sports. Powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 24th. The NCAA men's basketball tournament, the South Regional, will occur here in Atlanta this upcoming weekend. Ole Miss and Michigan State will match up on Friday, as will top-seeded Auburn and Michigan. Winner of the region moves on to the Final Four. For Major League Baseball, the Braves made a move over the weekend. Pitcher Ian Anderson has been traded to the Anaheim Angels in exchange for pitcher Joe Suarez. Anderson was 22-13 during his time as a Brave, but dealt with injuries over the past 2 seasons. On the field, the Braves, they will open up the season this week as they will finish up spring training over the next couple of days. The Braves will match up with the Cubs this afternoon. First pitch is set for 4:05. You can hear that game on our sister station's app, the all-new 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. All right, it ends right there, but it warms up and gets going right here. Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about Xmark and where do you pick up your Xmark? Howard Brothers, of course. If you haven't noticed, the carpenter bees are back out, starting to warm up a little bit. Spring, it's right around the corner. You need to gear up and be ready for those outside projects with your Xmark mower. Trusted by pros and homeowners alike, Xmark delivers precision, durability, and power to tackle any lawn with ease, whether it's their zero-turn mowers or if you want to get one of those walk-behind mowers for control. Xmark makes mowing faster, easier, and better. Stop by Howard Brothers today and see why Exmark is the one to have on your side as we get into spring. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Exmark and with Howard Brothers.
You may know that ATL Turf Co. has become a leader in artificial grass design and installation services, but you may not know that ATL Turf Co. is a large artificial grass distributor. We only sell U.S.-made, premium name brand turf at factory direct pricing below wholesale. And now we're open to the public with large inventories of lawn and landscape, putting green, athletic, and pet turf on sale. Plus, all remnants are on sale for only $1 per square foot, direct from Dalton to our warehouse in Kennesaw. Visit atlturfco.com to learn more. atlturfco.com.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
A musician with technical knowledge can play all the right notes. But one who cares enough to play from the heart gives music soul. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit Truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, AtlantaSmiles.com, the dentist with the doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums, and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggies, a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy at AtlantaSmiles.com.
March is the month of marriage, and we're celebrating at Solomon Brothers Jewelers with our annual Marry Me March event. And this year, the deals are our biggest and best ever. Hey, Brian Finneran here for Solomon Brothers, and we're here to help couples tie the knot with engagement rings and wedding bands at this year's best prices. All this month, we are offering savings of up to 60% off rings and wedding bands from our top designs like halos, the hidden halo, single shared prong, double shared prong, and every other design in our store. Choose from our selection of hundreds of beautiful rings in every budget, or hand design the ring of their dreams with the help of our expert jewelers. No matter the price, you'll find something nice at Solomon Brothers. Don't miss our Marry Me March event going on all this month and save up to 60% off engagement rings and wedding bands. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and now in Peachtree City, or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers is the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
Keep up with all of our shows and the latest headlines by following Extra 1063 on Instagram, X, Facebook, Truth Social, and all your social media platforms. Plus exclusive giveaways and more. So follow now at XTRA 1063.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063.
That does make me crazy now that you drew me into this conversation.
I didn't mean to. We're just talking about, because Los is literally moving in like
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We're moving, and my wife continues to complicate things by adding layers. For instance, she saw a table on to Facebook, and she was like, oh, I might buy that table. I was like, okay, that's fine. She's like, well, I'm going to sell ours. I was like, well, then we won't have a table for the next 2 weeks. I was like, why don't we just take it over to the next place? She's like, well, I mean, I don't want to pay to move it. I go, it's a flat fee. They're moving everything regardless.
Right.
Well, then I'll have to sell it at the next house, and I won't know as many people. Like, that sounds like a problem for down the road rather than causing a problem for right now.
Oh, man.
And then she took blocks of, what are they? The
fire starter woods.
The logs that you use, you just light the packaging and they take off. And she's like, should I put this on Facebook for somebody to come get it? I was like, well, why don't we ask our neighbor who has a fire pit right next door if they want it? Because those are pretty easy to light. Why are we complicating this?
Duraflame. That's what they're called. You just throw them in there and light the whole package. Yeah.
Look,
the neighbor will love it. She's going to be like, this is great.
Look, here's the picture. There's the box. There's the
awesome.
Fire logs.
That's awesome.
And her question is, should I give these away in the neighborhood? No. How about you give them to our neighbor who actually has a fire pit
right next door that will love them?
Just go walk it on over and say, here, rather than complicating this by take the picture, post it on Facebook, let's see who will come and get it. Oh.
Yeah, no thank you. No, thank you.
I guess maybe it's just the nature of this work. I'm a very simple human. Point A to point B.
How do I get there easiest?
I'm not trying to go A to C with adding a B in there. All right? It's just not how my brain works. It's. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If my wife was a general of an army, they would all be dead because she complicates these things. Let's take a poll.
And this is a very smart woman.
And you know what she doesn't do when it comes to dealing with our volleyball team, because she's the communications director. She's the one that looks at like the food service people within our team, because you have moms that handle food. Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't know why they make it so complicated. I was like, maybe you should ask yourself the same question. Because she recognizes this in other people, but doesn't recognize it in herself.
Maybe here's a mirror.
Yes.
Take a glance.
So yes, moving over the next 2 weeks should be stressful enough. All the
hang in there,
little painting and everything else.
Hang in there.
If anybody wants to paint portions of a house for free, let me know.
Yeah, right. Sign up, dude.
Sign up sheet. I'll come and speak at your church or school or whatever. I just don't want to do any more painting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I'm not good at it. You wouldn't, even if I volunteered, by the time I was done, you'd be like, good Lord, I got to pay to get something. This guy's terrible.
If you need someone at your career day or your bar mitzvah and you're willing to paint like
you'll offer your
10
services.
feet of wall.
Trade. Do a little trade.
Do a little trade.
So music has been such a big part of my life. It's maybe even the most important activity that I participate in. I don't splurge. I don't spend, a lot on anything. I try not to. I try to be very frugal. The one thing I splurged on was a speaker system from my home. That was the one thing that I wanted to do. And it's funny because I got all that, the love for music from my daddy. I guess love for country from my daddy, love for contemporary Christian and gospel, Southern gospel music from mom. But it was so overlapping. It's so generational in our home. It's been passed down for years.
So this is what's different. There was a study that was done that basically pointed out whatever music you listen to from 30 and younger is what you carried for the next 30 or 40 years.
Amen. That's the truth.
But I think about you working within the industry. You're exposed to a lot of new music at times. And there's stuff that you'll say, oh, I heard this new album. Yeah. I heard this new group. You are not.
I may be the unicorn, though.
You are. Because most people will tell you, like my father-in-law is big into 70s rock. And he'll be like, 70s is the greatest era for music. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
I'm not going to argue like 80s where I'm like 70s is really good. But I'll also tell you that the early to mid 90s.
Amazing.
Pretty impactful for what came out of that genre.
My entire trip to South Carolina was on 90s alternative, and you know there were some early 2000s, even mid 2000s, and some 80s in there, but it was predominantly that 90s alternative rock that influenced me as a high schooler.
But that's what happens when you're exposed to certain things within your generation. And so I want you to take a listen to this piece of audio. This is Charlie Kirk. He's doing his campus tour, and there are two people that come up to the microphone. It's a father and son. Now the son couldn't look more like he looks like artsy liberal.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy hair, big old glasses, tattoos on his hands, and he identifies as a conservative.
Interesting.
Dad looks like, proper gentleman, cabbie hat, nice looking dude, and he's the liberal. But I want you to hear how Charlie Kirk says, listen, sometimes politics is generational.
Hello, guys. My name is Joey. I brought my father with me. He's a very liberal father.
Our family's divided. We're divided the same way the nation is divided.
I'm conservative, by the way.
Will anything ever be remedied? A nation divided against itself will not stand. Neither will a family divided against itself.
Why do you think your son is conservative?
I have no clue. I'll let him answer that question.
That's a bad answer. Hold on a second. You as a father should listen to your son.
I listen to him all the time.
Hold on, but then you just said you don't know.
I don't know where he went so bad. I mean, come on. It's like, I don't know where he went wrong. I don't know how he went off the rails.
Would the smarter of the two like to chime in here? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I used to be, at one point, on my father's side. Upon doing my own research and seeing things firsthand, I've switched sides. We talk every day about politics to the point where it's divided us. And so for him to say that he does not know where I stand is...
So let me ask you, do you think that maybe he wants to believe government will do good? Maybe that's...
Of course. Okay.
Now maybe your son is going more conservative because he thinks government hasn't done a lot of good. Is that maybe a fair charitable interpretation?
That makes relative sense.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Here's what I'll just say in closing, guys. Never let politics get in the way of the beautiful relationship between father and son. My advice first is for the son to the father, understand he comes from a different generational perspective. He thinks government is probably a good force. And now your son, understandably, is seeing it harder than ever to own a home. He's seen a border wide open. He's seen lies from politicians. He's seen the enrichment of the ruling class. And instead of interrupting and want to get in an edge, smartly be like, maybe my son is processing a way that I might not agree with, but he's growing up in a different circumstance than I ever would.
Amen. So simple.
It's generational. The same way that you're into particular types of music is also the same way that by no means are my parents, they grew up in an era where the Democrats were like, hey, we're people here for the working class. And they too, finally after retiring after like 35, 40 years, they looked at themselves as we are working class. And so they have identified as Democrat. They looked at it as Republicans don't have any interest in us, so we're not going to vote this way.
Turns out,
stuff changes. The warmongers used to have a really nice home in the Bush-Cheney White House. They've moved. Okay, it went to Obama.
That's right.
Was on board with Hillary, on board with Joe Biden. Politics changes. And so if you are going to be stuck hard and fast with your 70s folk rock or your 90s grunge, you're never going to see the seams on the fastball when they start moving. We talk about it all the time on the show. The power by which things go on in Washington has altered radically.
Oh, my gosh.
With the rise of Donald Trump.
It's almost unrecognizable.
Completely.
Yeah, and fascinating too to see the categories of music even change in with politics, with respect to politics. There's artists that are coming out now that I always thought were just super libs, and all of a sudden they're like the band Lit. You hear their music on the
Buck and Clay
show.
Yeah,
and I would have never guessed that they're conservatives. They're a late '90s alt band, and sure enough. It's the same way, man. You just see the changing, and it is so drastically different than it used to be.
Because I can bring up weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
I can bring up COVID. I can bring up all the issues where all you've given my generation, Gen X, is we should not be trusting of this government ever.
When we continue, constitutional crisis, democracy at risk. We got it, Chucky. We got it. We hear you. We understand. We know what you're trying to do and trying to say. After a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update, more of the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
You wonder about the rabid response to attempts by the Trump administration to cut back the size of government. I take you back to 2012. The Democrat National Convention, where they opened the convention with somebody saying the government is the only thing we all belong to. Yes, my friends, you belong to the government. All blessings in your life come from the government, and it demands your unquestioning obedience. Maybe these people are so outraged because it's their owner, their overlord, that is being destroyed by the nasty orange man. Now, for some reason, and this is hard to explain, this whole episode reminds me of former Atlanta mayor and former felon and former convict Bill Campbell. I supported him strongly when he ran for mayor the first time. But then something happened during that administration that just turned me solidly 180% against him. He held a press conference. The subject was government, more particularly government unions. And Bill Campbell was upset at the idea that Republicans might be thinking about downsizing the Atlanta city government. So at the press conference, he announced that he had reached a contract with the labor unions representing Atlanta city workers. And that contract stated that as long as Bill Campbell was mayor, there would be no reform in Atlanta government that would cost even one union job. Not only do we all belong to the government by default, we all belong to government unions. Is that the process that's going on in the minds of these people, blindly criticizing any attempt to cut back the size and power of the federal government? Think about it. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Trying again to stop the war in Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and a new round of negotiations today.
Our job is to narrow the issues, bring the parties together, and stop the killing. That's the game plan.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff on Fox News Sunday before the new talks now underway.
Both sides meeting at a hotel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ukrainian officials with U.S. representatives yesterday, Russians with Americans today. This follows phone calls between President Trump, Russian President Putin, Ukrainian President Zelensky, during which a partial ceasefire was in principle agreed to.
Fox's Greg Palcott. Israel has hit Gaza with more airstrikes that Palestinian officials say killed more than 60 people the day after putting the number of deaths in the war at over 50,000 Palestinians. Israel says one of the strikes killed a Hamas operative hiding out in a hospital. There's an appeals court hearing today into the controversial deportation flights to El Salvador more than a week ago of Venezuelans in the U.S. illegally. A judge ordered those flights turned around, but they were not. Trump Reporters' Tom Holman tells ABC's This Week they were gang members.
TDA's been determined to be terrorist organizations. They are now classified as terrorists, so that plane removed 240 terrorists from the United States.
As the case is litigated, deportation flights to Venezuela are back on after the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, halted flights earlier this month. Venezuelan officials say a deal with the U.S. had been reached. The Department of Homeland Security says the first flight arrived on Sunday. It had 199 people, including some whom the administration says are suspected gang members.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. A former congresswoman has died. Mia Love was the first black Republican woman ever elected to Congress from Utah in 2014, served 2 terms. House Speaker Mike Johnson posted, she'll always be remembered for her warm smile and wit and historic contributions. Mia Love was only 49. She had suffered from brain cancer. America's listening to Fox News.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Search for the Extra 106.3 app wherever you download apps by searching XTRA 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
My name is Tug, along with Carlos Medina. We call him Front Office Los, or FOL. Glad that you're with us on the Morning Extra, an Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. It's the most convenient way to listen. Go back and listen to show replays. You can listen to any of the shows that air on the station that you might have missed. It's always available, always right there, always free.
You can always activate the talk. It's the talk button where you say Dalton to English translator.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the Texan to English translator.
Both of them are there and available.
That's right. So you'll get the straight talk that you're looking for.
That's all you're looking for, somebody to be honest with. Just
so when I say whose ox is being gored, you'll be like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And just hit the button.
And if I say, reckon why Mama said that, it translates to, he's wondering what his mother has spoken about.
Right.
Reckon what Mama asked for about. Reckon what Mama said about that.
Or if you want like a breakdown of underpinning.
Yes, that's right. I can help you with that. Half my family lives in trailers. So, and I say that.
Just with love. Manufactured housing is not a foreign concept.
Not where I grew up. It is. There's some of the nicest manufacturing homes I've ever seen in Dalton, Georgia. I ain't kidding. I mean, they look amazing.
Good carpet in there too.
Yes, sir. They have exceptional carpet.
Have you ever wanted, maybe just for a football weekend, to be able to take like a tiny house on a trailer?
Heck yeah, man, that'd be awesome.
I mean, wouldn't that be like a step up from not everybody can have the Bortz bus.
Yeah, no, you can't. But I'm telling you, I've seen some double wides that'll knock your socks off. I'm talking double wides, be like, I would absolutely live here.
You just roll into it on wheels, plug it in for the weekend.
For sure.
Enjoy
those shipping containers now. They stack them on top of each other.
I'd rather have a double wide though than a tiny home or a shipping container. That's just me.
I would agree with you
because I've been in some nice double wides. And I've seen them come up Georgia 400, and I've seen them go up I-75 and then end up, in Whitfield County.
But they do attract the twisters.
Once in a while.
It's like a beacon.
Yes,
it's like, come get up me. Right. It's like you hear the tornado sirens go off and you recognize it's coming to my house.
That's right. It's like they're one. They're one with each other. They belong together.
That's right. The twister in the manufactured home.
That's right. I'm glad Mama don't live on the coast in her trailer. And I say that again, but you think I'm making fun. I am not. My mama sold the house that I grew after my dad passed about 6 years ago. Mama sold the house that I grew up in, which was, just nice 80s ranch or whatever, nothing fancy, but a nice brick home, whatever. She sold that and moved out to Loganville to be closer to my sister. And she was like, I think I'm just gonna buy me a trailer. I was like, Mama, whatever makes you happy, that's what I want you to buy. And that's what she did.
40-foot double-story flat pack house with bathroom and kitchen.
Dude, that looks amazing.
That actually does for $65,000
on Amazon. You can buy your home on Amazon.
Yeah, you can.
That is unreal.
That's not bad.
That's awesome.
That poor delivery driver.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to
drop that at your front door.
Seriously, he's gonna have to back that down the street. There's no place for him to turn his truck around.
I looked up nice trailer home. That's what I got.
Yeah, I'm telling you. There was a place called Clayton Homes. It was on Chatsworth Highway up in Dalton. And they had the nicest double wides you ever seen in your life. And some of them, there was even at one point, and I don't know if this stuck or if it was just a trial balloon or what it was, but they had a 2-story mobile home. I'm not kidding. It was like there were two stacked on top of it. It was amazing. I'm telling you, that's for the big spenders.
How about affordable luxury manufactured homes and modular homes?
Yeah,
and we can go to about 135,000.
Aren't those houses that are like prefab up in the mountains?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those cabin are prefab. It's the same, the same concept.
I mean, if you didn't use AI, maybe you could show me some real pictures here.
I know, right? How about the real deal? Give me the fake pictures. Goodness.
Show me the real thing.
Anyway, 404-741-1230. If you love trailers like I do, we can talk about that in country music.
If you too want to live in a trailer just like me one day.
That's right. Or like the rest of my family. Goodness. There's just all kinds of opportunities out there for you. We can listen to country music. We can have some cold beers sitting on the, because I remember the trailer Mom and Daddy had up off Cleveland Highway, headed to Cleveland, Tennessee. It'd been there for quite some time, but it was on 3 acres, just beautiful property. And Daddy and my uncle went up there and built a nice deck on the front. Dude, we had so much fun. Me and Laura lived there for about 2 years before we bought our first townhome. But we were able to save because we didn't have a payment at all.
That's nice.
And they went up there and built this huge deck. Dude, we had so much fun. It was perfect for 2 kids that had just been married, trying to save some money.
You ever think about selling your home and living in a tree house?
I haven't thought about it. No, I haven't.
Like, wouldn't that be like the most awesome thing as far as like going back to being a kid?
Yes, I wouldn't be opposed to it. And there's tree houses that you can rent up in Northwest Georgia. And Ringgold, I think, has some. And then there's some up in the mountains, like Lookout Mountain in that
Some
area.
of that glamping.
Yeah, you can rent them. And they're like amazing.
Get you a real nice yurt for the weekend.
A what now?
A yurt.
What is that?
Y-U-R-T.
What is that?
It's like sort of looks like a teepee. It's got some more structure to it. There's usually air conditioning. That's got a girlfriend
real.
like mine.
Okay.
That doesn't want to get dirty. That wants a shower, a little running water. Get you a yurt.
Okay. All right. I don't believe I've ever had one of those. Never spent any time on one of those, but I'd give it a roar. I'd give it a try, no doubt.
You'd be just fine.
Yeah, I have a feeling it would be nice. I love getting out in nature, though. I love, spending time out in the woods. And I hadn't hunted in years. I hadn't been hunting in years. I've been in Atlanta too long, and kids playing ball, taking you everywhere but the woods.
Now you can't defend yourself?
No.
Or hunt efficiently?
Yeah, no. I'd be in bad shape. I don't know. I could figure it out. If somebody was coming after me, I believe I could figure it out.
I don't even know what your dad would say.
He'd be disappointed, probably.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Now, as long as I defended the house and defended Laura and Jacob, be fine. He'd be all right. As long as you took out the bad guys.
No, he can't kill any deer anymore.
Yeah, I know.
He's lost that skill.
He's like, he ain't going to feed nobody. But thankfully, I have uncles and cousins that all still hunt, and Peeps has got the eggs. So we've got a built-in network.
Plenty of protein. We're fine.
We got a built-in network. And we could probably, Laura and I used to have a garden in our backyard in Johns Creek. It was we didn't have a big backyard, but it was just a perfect place for a little garden. And man, we grew all kinds of stuff for several years until we moved.
If I didn't have so many deer,
I
would definitely love to do that. And they eat all of it.
We had the 6-foot wooden fence and our backyard was kind of pie-shaped.
Yeah.
And so we just ran it along the fence. And, there was no deer being able to get back there. And it was perfect. God, it was good. And the vegetables were all good. So we could at least figure that part out, I do believe. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Chuck Schumer wants you to know that democracy is at risk. He wants you to know that we're having a constitutional crisis. We talked about this, I think, last hour, maybe the hour before. How the Democrats and some of the judges are like, yes, we want you to turn that flight of murderous gang members back, bring them back to the United States so they get their due process. I don't care. I don't care. This is awful to say, but I'm going to tell you. If Donald Trump broke the law in deporting those murderers illegally, I'm okay with it. I am a rule of law follower kind of guy. But if a judge tells me that we need to keep murderous gang members in the United States, I don't believe what he says. I don't trust what he says. He doesn't have America's best interest at heart. He's doing something that is wrong from his perch.
It feels wrong where we're talking about due process when you started by breaking the law by entering illegally. And then as you continue to break the law, now suddenly we're supposed to apply due process of law. to people that are not citizens.
Yeah.
Now, you do have an expectation of due process in this country, even if you are here illegally. But it does not mean you get the full rights that everyone else does.
As a citizen. That's exactly right. Chuck Schumer says democracy's at risk. He said this, of course, on NBC's Meet the Press. Listen.
Do you agree, is the United States in a constitutional crisis?
Yes, I do, Kristen, and democracy is at risk. Donald Trump is a lawless, angry man. He thinks he should be king. He thinks he should do whatever he wants, regardless of the law. And he thinks judges should just listen to him. Now, we have to fight that back in every single way.
Whose side is he on exactly? Is he on the American people who don't want murderous gang members in their communities? Or is he on, the side of, let's say, MSNBC and NBC that are just fine with those people coming here because they don't tolerate it? They live in an ivory tower. They're protected by fences. You and I don't have that.
Nope.
And you and I probably won't. Los is moving to a new house. Are you in some big, fine, gated community?
No.
Yeah, me either. I see.
That's the plan eventually.
Yeah, I'd like to get there one day, but I'm not there anytime soon. Chuck Schumer is hell-bent on defending illegal immigrant killers and gang members, and not you, not your family. We saw the brutal murder of a woman here in Georgia by a gang member.
And then to see these activist judges already flaunt the Lake and Riley Act because at the very heart of the act is that if you happen to commit a violent crime in this country, you're gone. If you happen to commit a small issue, theft, you're gone. Battery, injury. I mean, there's a multitude of, as soon as this happens, you're out of here. That is the heart of the Lake and Riley Act. And activist judges have decided that the law that was passed and signed by the president, his very first and his second term, will not be applied.
Y'all see the Boston mayor, Michelle Wu?
That's a piece of work there.
She is nutso. She said, every human being has the legal right to come to the United States and seek asylum or shelter. Every human being. How many people are on Earth, dude?
Beg to differ on that one.
How many people are on Earth?
Going about 8 billion these days, I think.
We don't got room for 8 billion people, but by her statement, she said, yes, every single person, all 8 billion, or whatever the number is, Dre, has the right to come to the United States. Not to apply for asylum, not to apply for citizenship, not to go through the proper programs and protocols, but the right to come to the United States. I disagree with her completely, Los.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't disagree with her more. And yet that woman's running Boston. Do you think the people in Boston believe in that? Because I don't.
They voted for it.
They get
Hopefully they vote out it.
Let's hope.
I mean, that's really the goal. When anyone tells me about what's going on in this country, well, look at all these people. They're protesting this because they need to find a voice. You had a voice 4 months ago. It wasn't popular. You got voted down. That's it. That's all. And so people of Boston, if you don't like this, get rid of her. I mean, that's the whole idea of a representative republic, of a form of democracy. If you don't care for it, and this was the difference in when you had the Biden administration, Joe was a figurehead. He was never running anything.
No, of course.
But the rest of these people are. If you don't like it, vote it out. Get rid of it. It's like a cancer. You are more than welcome to use that scalpel.
I want to see.
But if you don't, it's on you.
I want to see the Democrats respond to this. I want to say, I say the Democrats, the voters of Boston respond to this. I want to see the voters respond and say, we're fed up with, because they've already done it on a national scale. We had plenty of Democrats vote for Donald Trump. They've talked about it. They've shared their reason behind it. He doesn't get elected in a landslide like he did without them. So welcome to the golden age of common sense. There was a reason that they opened the door for millions and millions and millions of unvetted, because they knew you were going to at some point vote them out, and they needed to replace you. They needed to have a new voting base that, as long as we hand them things that we never handed you, not that I wanted them to hand me anything, but they needed someone to replace you with when you wised up.
It's very simple. City of Boston voted 76.7 to 19.7 for Kamala Harris. That was in the 2024 presidential election. If you don't like what Wu is putting out there as a mayor, it's on you.
Absolutely it is.
And this is why they recognize their problem. The amount of people that are having to leave these areas where they're just like, we're done. You're voting with your feet. If 76% of the city of Boston is going to continue to vote for Democrats despite the problem it's causing, and then you look at the majority of Massachusetts where 61% voted for Democrats, and you don't like it, get out. It's time to go. And you know what it is, Tug? Here's the other part about it. It's not the Republicans that are leaving. Like, they're leaving as it is.
Sure.
It's I'm kind of a run-of-the-mill, blue dog, old-school Bill Clinton Democrat, and you're like, you people are too crazy for me. I'm getting out of here.
So much so that 300,000 people left the Democrat Party last month and then the month before. How long would that continue? I imagine as long as they're marching Bernie Sanders and AOC out as the face of the Democrat Party, open and avowed socialist and communist, more of those people at 300,000 a pop a month will be doing the same thing.
Talk about history. And history always shows you that whenever you have a situation where communism begins to grab hold of a country or grab hold of a party, that there's always going to be the one benefit. Communists kill communists.
Yes.
What happens is somebody else comes along who says, you're not communist enough, we'll take over from here. And then the previous people who were in power, they're on the wall. They're the ones who get shot, and you move on to the next one. And this goes on as a cycle on a regular basis. It's why communists become so authoritarian. They know the next round of communists are coming forward.
For them.
So they put them in prison, they kill them,
That's
they
right.
do what they do. This is just the next cycle that as the Democrats lack answers, their one move is, well, what if we get more communist? You actually are marching out two people that are avowed socialists. And that's your answer to what happened in 2024 is to go from communism light, kind of not exactly telling you it's communism, but it's communism, and then say, okay, never mind, let's go full communism.
It's like Superman opening up the shirt to reveal the communists.
I know Kamala Harris is talking about price controls, which worked so well in Russia in the 1930s, that you then decide, why don't, now that she's been voted down so convincingly, why don't we see if we can get more communist? Let's double down on our message.
And that's what they're doing. And they're trying to tell you that 30,000 plus people showed up in Denver to see those fools. We know it's about 11,000.
11,000 and 84% had been to 9 or more rallies, including BLM, Antifa, Kamala Harris, climate change. Like I said, all the typicals that the paid-for protester shows up at.
Sign up for your check. You got to come sign up at the event. This is where you sign up to get paid out here with these socialists, out with these communists. Good Lord. What a mess they're in. Good. I'm glad they're in disarray. And I'm glad they're marching out the Bernie Sanders and the AOCs because the American people will reject it. Even more than they rejected Kamala Harris. They're going to reject those two clowns at an even higher level. They are marching off the cliff like Wile E. Coyote, man, like it's a cartoon, like it's not real. Let them do it. 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. They've done over 200,000 jobs. They'll give you 10% off any job, anything on the outside of the home. Doors, windows, gutters, roof, siding, all of it. 10% off or 12 months, 0% financing. SouthernExteriors.co and SouthernExteriors.co. The feminist man, he may not always be pure of heart. I'll explain to you what I mean next. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Trump is making a lot of noise about getting rid of the Department of Education, and that's one of the best news items this week. Poorly informed American voters believe that the Department of Education is an essential function of the federal government. It's not.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
The EQE electrifies the essence of Mercedes-Benz values. Leadership in user-friendly technology and earth-friendlier power. Satisfaction for drivers and passengers alike. And the seamless confluence of craftsmanship and innovation that makes the iconic Grille Star shine. Get an exceptional offer on the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 sedan for just $509 per month for 36 months with $66.53 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the RBM of Atlanta's spring sales event. Visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through March 31st, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Atlanta Braves fans, May is Military Appreciation Month and a great time to show your patriotism by purchasing a VIP table at the Warrior Alliance 4th Annual Veteran Impact Awards and Gala. The event will be held on Thursday, May 22nd at the Coca-Cola Roxy Theater at the Battery Atlanta and features dining, live entertainment, and Georgia-based veterans being honored for the significant contributions they are making in our communities. Purchase your VIP table today or make a donation at thewarrioralliance.org.
Don't miss the Braves home opener at Truist Park April 4th through the 10th when the Marlins and Phillies come to town. Fans can enjoy some fun during the week, including Braves Walk on April 4th, where fans can line the streets of the Battery Atlanta as the team parades down the street and into the ballpark, welcoming in the 2025 season. And of course, the Braves are back with some iconic giveaways and ticket packages like the Chris Sale's Cy Young bobblehead presented by Delta Airlines on April 9th. And brand new to the lineup this year, the Hello Kitty ticket package on April 10th, which includes an exclusive Braves and Hello Kitty co-branded light-up figurine. Plus, don't miss the first Kids Club Day on Sunday, April 6th, where the first 3,000 kids will receive a Chris Sale Triple Crown to wear. Some great seats still remain, and it's the perfect way to spend your spring break. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out the fun and freebies during the opening homestand and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Are you tired of dealing with loud, ugly, drafty garage doors? Do you have certain rooms in the house that you can't keep cool in the summer or warm in the winter? Hi, I'm Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Now is a great time to upgrade with brand new, efficient, quiet, and beautiful garage doors. Your garage door is the biggest opening in your home, which is why it's such an important part of your home's curb appeal and energy efficiency. Give us a call today at 770-517-7078. Get started today by visiting us at allfourseasonsgarages.com.
While we may have won this election, the fight to restore our great nation is truly only beginning. Patriot Mobile is leading the charge. As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. Patriot Mobile isn't just about providing exceptional cell phone service. It's a call to action to defend our rights and our freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you'll get outstanding nationwide coverage, the same that you have from your other providers, because they operate on all three major networks. But the difference is, every dollar you spend supports the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, our veterans and first responders. Switching is easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer support team will help you find the perfect plan. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/Beck or call 972-PATRIOT and get a free month of service with promo code Beck. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and defend freedom with every call and every text you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/Beck or call 972-PATRIOT.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disposed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, March 24th. Governor Kemp confirmed over the weekend that authorities are working with ICE to deport a man accused of killing a Marietta woman earlier this month. David Hector Rivas is a Honduran national who has been in the country illegally since 2021. He is being held at the Cobb County Jail until his removal from the country. Authorities are reminding parents to stay alert after a failed kidnapping attempt at Walmart in Ackworth. Police say they arrested 56-year-old Mahendra Patel after he tried to abduct a 2-year-old child from their mother. In national news, a federal court is hearing arguments today about the deportation flights of illegal gang members. Ceasefire talks continue in Saudi Arabia between Russia and Ukraine, and Usha Vance, the second lady, and a party of U.S. officials are visiting Greenland. Today's weather: overnight storms are clearing out this morning around the Atlanta area. It'll be mostly cloudy today, starting out in the mid-50s. This afternoon will reach into the high 60s. Tomorrow looks sunny with highs in the mid-70s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors. If you've got a leak in the roof and you know it's been raining all morning long, make sure you get it squared away right away. They do free estimates and they don't knock on doors in the neighborhood. They have enough business that they can get the job done without having to do that. And they can take care of your home, too. 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co. Yesterday, I was just, tooling around, watching some basketball, and I happened to...
Just tooling around, watching basketball.
That's a song. That's right. And opened up Facebook. Looked down at the marketplace.
Looked at the marketplace.
There was a McDonald's sign. I mean, who has a McDonald's sign? I mean, it was like the big M, the big arches. Huge.
It's actually kind of fun.
I know,
but sounds like something for the new place.
I know, right? Like, where do you get that?
I know my wife is going to be really weird when I bring home a giant McDonald's sign from a old McDonald's.
Medina, last name, works perfect.
I'm just going to put it out front.
That's right.
Look at the golden arches.
That's right. And instead of, where you like it says McDonald's through the arches, you just put Medina in there.
Exactly.
I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be great. And it was like, I don't know, $200 or something. I just saw where someone paid $34,000 for the 560-pound, 12-foot-tall Larry the Twitter Bird logo, the one that hung on the Twitter headquarters out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Elon took it down when he changed the name of the company, bought the company, took it down. They just sold it for $34,000. I mean, it's such an icon. I don't know what you do with it.
Yeah,
I don't want it necessarily.
It's got to be investment oriented, right? Like you hold on to it in hopes of selling it somewhere down the road.
Engadget is where I saw it. 12 by 8, 560 pounds, and it was a YouTube. There was a YouTube video accompanying the listing, and it was showing the crane taking it all down. But nobody exactly knows where this thing's going to end up. They don't even know who the bidder is at this, or the winning bid is at this point. But they just know that this is the first time that Larry, the Twitter bird, has hit the auction block. Let's see, auction closed. Yep, it's all done and over with. How about that?
12 feet by 9 feet.
What do you do with that? I mean, Glenn Beck's got that cool...
His museum?
Yeah, his museum thing. Yeah. Maybe, it could be, I guess it could be Glenn Beck. Because it would make sense for him to see how important, because we know that Twitter was so valuable to the left.
Yeah, it changed the world entirely.
It opened up free speech altogether when Elon bought and said, no, everybody is available to share their opinions, share their values. And now the left despises it. But you see them rushing back. I've seen more leftist garbage on Twitter lately, and I love it. Because
you're welcome.
Come on back, man. It's open. You get to spout your nonsense all you want. It's fine. And nobody's upset about it.
I thoroughly enjoy it in part because I like to take the nonsense and then to retweet it with a very simple response.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot you can say.
No, of course not. It's all
There's not much that's going on there.
You're exactly right. But it was funny to see that auctioned off. And now it makes me wonder if that was a Beck move. It would make so much sense, and it would be so valuable in his museum because of how political that one entity, that one agency, that one outlet, the media outlet became.
It had such a societal impact. Like, I still remember in 2011, 2012, the amount of news stations and the amount of broadcasters and newsbreakers that were letting you know, here's my Twitter handle. And that was to let you know you can come and get this and it'll be instantaneous. Like there was a time where we would go onto a website like an ESPN.com or even in a political way like Drudge, and you'd be sitting there refreshing, wondering like, okay, what's the latest news? Well, then you didn't have to. It was just instantaneous.
That's right. It's right there, and still is to this moment. The amount of news that is broken for me on Twitter has always been extraordinary. It's always been a huge number. Now, even more, because my side is actually able to speak where they weren't for so long. I would just sit back and watch and gather news, gather articles. And it was funny because I was doing music radio at this point, and I would still gather content from there. I would see something. I was like, oh, okay, we could use this and present it and talk about it. And it was always successful for our morning show when I was doing country mornings. And now, still to this day, we're still doing those things. It's how valuable that property was. So it's no surprise that old Larry the Bird.
And then in 2016, when the government recognized, then to watch them get involved and to try and turn it on the American people.
And did.
And effectively.
They silenced your voice. They were able to. They silenced you on Twitter. They silenced you on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you were able to share your voice, share your opinion. They were able to shut you down and did with the help of all the outlets. Now, look, was there some of those outlets that were probably like, man, if we don't do what we're asked to do, they're going to make operating hard on us. I'm not saying that I forgive them for it. I'm not saying they made the right choice, but under that pressure, I know why people cave. They're like, if we don't do what we're being asked to do, they're going to bankrupt us. They're going to put us out of business. And, you know, if the government comes after you, they have unlimited resources. They have all of our resources. We only have a finite amount of resources. And that's what we make and what we saved, especially when it comes to small businesses.
I'm so trying to find this tweet that I saw over the weekend.
What was it about?
It was including myself. What it was that it was a tweet from about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was talking about lab leak theory. And the person who put it out there was like, you know, Anthony Fauci's only done what he's done in order to take care of people and save them as many as possible.
Right.
And the weird part about it was my stuff was automatically ruled out, you know,
the algorithm
silenced.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And yet that person saying what they were saying was the reason why it still shows up.
Yeah. It's unreal, man. What was happening at that time, and I'm glad it's not happening anymore. I'm going
to find this.
I don't think anybody will fall for it. And now you got even Bill Maher saying, yes, the lab leak, we know the lab leak is the way it happened.
This is from
even a leftist.
2022. What I had pointed out was all the kickbacks in the world are really tough to spend in hell. And Fauci, basically what he was able to accomplish and what he was doing, and talked about what had all gone on. Here's her response to this person. That's really hateful. He absolutely did nothing wrong.
Right.
Follow that up with, I guess that means I'm being fed BS. Eye rolling. It's amazing how mean and hateful you and the other conspiracy nuts are. He had nothing to do with the virus. He only tried to keep us alive. You don't even care that millions of people died. But anyways, I'm done.
What is the Twitter handle on that one?
Doesn't matter.
No, I know, but look, what's also in
Black Lives Matter.
There we go.
I know.
So it's to your point, always take off one hat, put on the other.
Can you imagine how nutty that is? That he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He ended up getting a pardon that extends to 2014.
And that person's That person still believes it, though.
That was right before that Elon was able to buy this thing and took it over.
That's exactly right. I want you to hear a feminist man, because I thought that was, that couldn't be real. A dude that claims to be a feminist. But their intentions, I learned, are not always pure.
And that's why, genuinely, as a feminist man, I think that toxic masculinity is so destructive for our culture.
Cheers to that.
Right?
I wish all men were feminists like you.
Me too.
It's so refreshing.
All right, here's that check for you, sir. Sir? First of all, do not assume my pronouns. Second of all, how dare you assume that because I'm a man that I'm going to be paying for this whole dinner? Women are fully capable of paying for themselves.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to split the bill between you two then?
Actually, why don't we do this so we can really drive this point home for you, because you're giving me very misogynistic vibes right now. Yeah. Leave the entire bill, and she will pay for the entire thing because she is a strong, independent woman who does not need a man to provide for her. As a feminist woman, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. I guess.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, here's the check, ma'am. I'm sorry. Okay.
Canceled. I cannot believe how toxic that guy was.
Right. So toxic.
And then she sees the
Oh
cost.
my God, this is expensive.
Oh, you got it.
Give me a purse, bitch! Give me a purse! Ned, are you gonna help me?
Absolutely not. As a feminist man, I don't want to imply that you can't defend yourself just because you're a woman.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
So
There's
good.
no difference
and he
between
just
a man
turns
and
it, he pretzels her and it goes on and on. There's another probably minute left of it. He just pretzels her at every moment being a feminist.
I just like that he keeps using all the buzzwords.
I know, oh yeah.
And he's a believer. I mean, he comes across as like a fun believer and just keeps one after another,
absolutely.
As long as you hit the buzzwords, you're fine.
It's a great skit. And that's when I realized, it's actually smart.
Save a buck or two.
Yeah, right. Save yourself some cash. Not only are you in, and she can't ever call you out for it.
No.
She could never go, well, you wouldn't believe what he did. He didn't pay for my dinner. Well, the feminist would be like, well, yeah, of course he didn't. You know what I mean? She's so frazzled. She has no way to go.
Never, ever trust a feminist man.
Whatever that means.
And by the way, if you want to trust a little bit of a feminist man, make sure he has daughters. Because then he actually knows a little bit of what he's talking about. I am by no means a feminist, but I am here to make sure, ladies, that you get yours.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to lead your movement. And certainly don't put your faith in the Harry Sissons of the world or any of these other dudes that are telling you, I'm a feminist. I'm all for women empowerment.
And then he's sending these ladies messages talking about how he...
Let me see your b-hole.
Yeah, let's hook up. And look, it happens. I'm not even condemning him for that.
No, that's fine. Go get after it, but
don't pretend.
Don't pretend
to be something you're not.
Right.
Just like in that skit. Dude's pretending to be a feminist, and then all of a sudden, when the rubber hits the road, she did not want him to be a feminist. No. She wanted him to get the check. She wanted him to open the door.
She was looking for that masculinity in that
all of a sudden,
that conservative guy who's got traditional values.
Exactly.
Suddenly, it was all good.
That's right. The ultimate pretzel. So funny. Tug and Los until 10, 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. Finally, Saturday Night Live is catching up with you and I. Next on the Morning Extra as we wrap the show.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 24th. The NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, the South Regional, will occur here in Atlanta this upcoming weekend. Ole Miss and Michigan State will match up on Friday, as will top-seeded Auburn and Michigan. Winner of the region moves on to the Final Four. For Major League Baseball, the Braves made a move over the weekend. Pitcher Ian Anderson has been traded to the Anaheim Angels in exchange for pitcher Joe Suarez. Anderson was 22-13 during his time as a Brave, but dealt with injuries over the past 2 seasons. On the field, the Braves, they will open up the season this week as they will finish up spring training over the next couple of days. The Braves will match up with the Cubs this afternoon. First pitch is set for 4:05. You can hear that game on our sister station's app, the all-new 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
HGI Wealth Advisors is your financial defense partner, preparing you for the unexpected when the inevitable happens in life. Our tailored strategies empower families to build wealth, generate infinite income, and mitigate taxes, fees, and penalties. At HGI Wealth Advisors, we help you transfer wealth while creating an everlasting legacy. Our goal is to ensure you meet your financial needs today, tomorrow, and into retirement. Our experienced team is committed to ensuring your legacy endures for generations to come. Learn more at hgiwealthadvisors.com.
Attention warriors, are you a veteran ready to navigate to success after service? Tune in to the Warrior Alliance Network. Join us as we spotlight inspiring stories, provide essential resources, and connect you with a community dedicated to empowering veterans. From career advice to health and wellness tips, the Warrior Alliance Network is your go-to hub for post-service success. Tune in Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Xtra 106.3. Join us on the mission, the Warrior Alliance Network, where warriors thrive together. Visit us at thewarrioralliance.org for more information.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, atlantasmiles.com, the dentist with the doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums, and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggies, a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy, atlantasmiles.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. You want to jump into spring and not worry about your home? Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day. The Trusted Toolbox.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine.
And I'm Josh Brooks with Southern Rodeo Company. We've teamed up with Vice Rodeo Productions to bring an exciting first-in-class rodeo to Cobb.
This family-friendly event has it all: food, games, novelties, and shopping. Cheer on the athletes of the International Professional Rodeo Association and witness some of the best bucking horses and bulls in the industry.
Join us for a fun, fast-paced, action-packed event featuring top cowboys and cowgirls from the United States and Canada. With paved parking, indoor restrooms, and covered seating, it's a great experience for everyone. The rodeo will be held at Jim R. Miller Park on April 4th and 5th. Get your tickets online at rodeotickets.com. Buy early. It's going to be a sold-out crowd.
Thanks, Josh. We appreciate Cobb County Pro Rodeo for choosing Our Town Monthly to promote the rodeo, and we look forward to seeing you there. And remember, our town is your town, Our Town Monthly.
March is the month of marriage, and we're celebrating at Solomon Brothers Jewelers with our annual Marry Me March event. And this year, the deals are our biggest and best ever. Hey, Brian Finneran here for Solomon Brothers, and we're here to help couples tie the knot with engagement rings and wedding bands at this year's best prices. All this month, we are offering savings of up to 60% off rings and wedding bands from our top designs like halos, the hidden halo, single shared prong, double shared prong, and every other design in our store. Choose from our selection of hundreds of beautiful rings in every budget, or hand design the ring of their dreams with the help of our expert jewelers. No matter the price, you'll find something nice at Solomon Brothers. Don't miss our Marry Me March event going on all this month and save up to 60% off engagement rings and wedding bands. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and now in Peachtree City, or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers is the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay. Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The president said it himself.
America is back.
And Extra 106.3 continues on as the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. The news changes by the day, and you can count on Extra 106.3 to bring it to you straight every day without the spin. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3. I found this skit from a few years ago from Saturday Night Live, and it seemed so relevant even today. I think this was about, 8 years ago or so. And it's Scarlett Johansson. She's a scientist. Along with her, it's Kyle Mooney and Mikey Day, and they've created this invention. You ever wanted to know what your dog was thinking? You ever wanted to know what your dog would say? Because we got this little chocolate brown schnauzer. His name's Cash. He's the coolest dog in the world. Just super smart, and he always howls. Like when he wants your attention, he'll howl. When he's trying to tell you something, he makes all these sounds. Like he's always so vocal. And I was like, man, if this dog could figure out how to talk, he would never shut up because that's how vocal he is all the time.
My old dog, the good old hairy boy dog, he would make sounds to let you know if it was water, food, or bathroom.
You knew which?
Yes.
That's so
depending
smart.
on what he was doing.
What kind of dog was it?
Oh, he was a lab pit mix.
Yeah. So
But
just super smart.
Like he would give you this look, and he would actually wave his head according to which direction. So if he did the and then he was like water or food, it's like it's time. Or he would wave towards like, hey, it's time to go outside. I gotta do nature here.
I'm telling you, I would love to know what old Cash was thinking. In this skit, they created this device. Innotech was the name of the company on the skit.
It's like a helmet.
Yeah, it's like a helmet they put on this little Chinese pug dog. And much to their dismay, the dog really likes Donald Trump.
What else do you like?
I like Parm and Leash, and I like Trump. He's my man.
Wait, what?
What?
What did your dog just say? It must be a translation error, some kind of glitch.
There's no glitch. Donald Trump is our president. He carried the Electoral College fair and square.
This can't be right. Did you know your dog likes Trump?
He doesn't.
I absolutely do. One big change is better than business as usual.
Hey, Max, no, you drop that right now. You don't like Trump.
The Dow was up 2,700 points since he was elected.
Talk about it. Love it.
Your dog is a monster. He's not. Just let me talk to him, Max. I'm sorry, but you're just a dog. You don't know what you're talking about.
Excuse me, Helen, but yes, I do.
And at one point,
stinking helmet.
The helmet starts falling off.
It's just it's that condescending attitude that made people want to vote for Trump in the first place.
Exactly right, dude. It's so good. And it goes on. It's like a 5-minute skit. And it is absolutely brilliant. And it's just as fitting. Crazy enough, it's just as fitting today as it was 8 years ago.
I just like the idea that they're having to be like, no, you're just a dog. You can't possibly think that. Yeah, that's just the kind of condescending attitude that got him, elected.
And that's the same thing I would contend that got him elected again was that condescending attitude. That we know better than you know. We know how to use and spend your money more wisely than you do. Just like, there were some intel leaks that the New York Times had posted about. I guess they're leaking information about the migrants, and getting rid of illegal migrants. And they're saying that there was no connection between Tren de Aragua and the Venezuelan government, which is the predicate that Donald Trump is using the Alien Enemy Act for. They're saying, no. Now all of a sudden they're saying, no, there's no connection. The FBI says yes, and I guess there's folks in the CIA that are leaking that know that it's not. You think I'm willing to believe the CIA at this point? The ones that are telling me that Vladimir Zelensky's a great guy, a swell fella, the same CIA that told me all the other bull crap during COVID, no.
If you're a 3-letter agency,
automatically
it's like the Cheka, which is the FBI at this point. That's basically what they are. They're a secret police. Now, I know that I'm about to have I'm still a few more weeks away from getting the bite out of my butt from the IRS. Because I'm not going to send.
Yeah.
I ain't sending you the money until it's time to send you the money.
We are, isn't it?
But every single time that we get to a 3-letter agency, there's that moment of going, nope, don't believe in you. I mean, the only one I probably am into nationwide. All right, UPS, you do your job.
Yeah.
All right, we're good there. You and me, UPS, we're fine.
That's right.
But if you're government in 3 letters, we got a problem.
No, I got no love for you. I don't trust, have never trust, don't expect that I will ever trust. And that includes what happens now. Like, Donald Trump has to prove to me that these agencies are doing work on my behalf. He's going to have to convince me because I don't trust them. I know how many tentacles of the deep state and the swamp are in there trying to even derail him.
And let me give you a free piece of advice out there to the leftist, communist, globalist crowd. Because of our reaction to government agencies, stop calling her AOC. It's not helpful.
Yeah, no kidding.
Trust me, it's not helpful.
That's a really smart.
But if I was running a campaign, I'd probably find something a little bit different. I'm not going to go in an era where the CIA, FBI, NIH, all of them are problematic. I don't think you should be calling your main frontrunner, AOC.
Yeah,
just a suggestion. That'll cost you $100,000.
Your main comedy frontrunner. Goodness.
By the way, Scarlett Johansson has hosted SNL 6 times.
I didn't know that.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Who's the most over the years?
The most is Alec Baldwin is 17 times, and Steve Martin has 15 times.
Yeah, I knew Stevie was
Hanks
up there.
is up there too, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. You've got quite a run here of people that have done. Just taking a look at the totals. Let's see. Tom Hanks. Because they call it the 5-timers club.
Right.
Like that used to be the joke. You would get the jacket and there was only a handful of 5-timers.
Right.
Now the 5-timers club is Martin Short, Kristen Wiig, Emma Stone, Woody Harrelson, John Mulaney, Paul Rudd, Jonah Hill, Dwayne Johnson, Melissa McCarthy, Scarlett Johansson, Justin Timberlake, Tom Hanks. Those are the people that have been 5.
Wow. Impressive
and now she's
list.
now 6. But
impressive list for getting people in there to. But I mean, Saturday Night Live has been such a.
You got to be funny.
You do.
That's why ScarJo is so cool.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
She's funny.
She's so brilliant. And she's married to the guy that does Weekend Update.
Colin Jost.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Such a smart dude. Hey, I want to let you know the 4th annual Smyrna Public Safety Foundation Golf Tournament is Monday, April 21st at Brookstone Golf and Country Club. 501c3 dedicated to supporting the men and women who keep us safe day in and day out. The Smyrna Public Safety Foundation Golf Tournament is an opportunity to spend the day on the links for a good cause. You can register as an individual or a group, sponsor a first responders round, or become a tournament sponsor. And know you're helping the brave men and women who sacrifice for us every day. For more information and links to register, you can go to SmyrnaPSF.org. It's SmyrnaPSF.org. We'll be doing the morning show out there.
We get a foursome?
Probably. I would imagine so.
Sweet.
We're going to be out there anyway.
Okay.
See if we can't pull something off.
Just want to make sure that if we're doing the morning show, like I'm expecting 18 after that with all the good people out there.
I need to drive.
You can ride around in the car.
I'll
That's
drive
fine.
around. I'll just drive. I'll hit like every other hole. Because I don't want to lose balls like I did last time.
You're our designated putt man.
I'll be the long putter.
Yes.
That's right. And one shotter. Like I had 2 good shots, I think, the entire 18.
You had a par 3 and you had a putt where we went, man, he really got all that thing.
I do really like putt. So it's I've played that so much over the years, I can usually sink me a putt. But it only happened once. Just like anything else. That'll do it for us. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for loving America the way that we do. Thank you for caring about the things that are going on in our country the way that we do. We appreciate you. We hope you'll share this radio station, this morning show, and the afternoon show with Kimber 2. Middle of the day with Beck and Clay and Buck. Share everything that we're doing with people that might appreciate it like you do. And then support the sponsors that support us. They share your values. Don't buy anything you don't need. But if you hear somebody advertising something you do need, give them the first chance to earn your business. For Los and Board Op Jurate, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
said a month ago some of Trump's actions are going to be painful. You can't get us out of the hole that the progressive Democrats have put us into without pain.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.